as a Razorback.
I feel great about my performance. I just want to show the world, that I can do it. My coaches believed in me, and I just went out there and flew around.
Foucha posted a statement to social media announcing that he is entering the transfer portal.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
People who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse. And we've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. I am dangerous.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
I hit the 7-iron like John Daly hits the 3.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson.
You just gotta keep living, man.
And Tommy Kraft.
We follow orders or people die. Are we clear?
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
We've had back-to-back bummer mornings. Yesterday, What's Your Beef Wednesday. Today, I've got to unfortunately tell you, as you heard from Tara Talmadge of the Pig Trail Nation, that Joe Foucha, your starting captain safety, has entered the transfer portal as of yesterday. And there's a lot of question marks surrounding his decision, what led to it. Nothing has been solidified yet. Joe hasn't come out and said, this is why I'm doing it. We just know the news, and we got to talk about it this morning. According to 24/7 Sports and Football Scoop, looks like Barry Lunney Jr. has a opportunity to end up in Champaign, Illinois as Brett Bielema's offensive coordinator. It looks like that's who he's targeting as his next guy. He let go of his OC that had a 3-year deal, so we'll see if the former Arkansas quarterback ends up back coaching under Brett Bielema. Bumper Pool said on KABZ yesterday that he's going to make his decision Friday about if he's coming back for the 2022 season. So we'll have to wait and see on that. So a lot of big-time football news this week on a Thursday, Tommy.
Yeah, I don't think we're done with news of coaching moves and players entering the portal and things happening just because, as we talked about earlier this week, the spring semester begins on the 18th. And on a Tuesday, and if you're making plans to go elsewhere as a student athlete, you kind of got to get those plans in motion. So I don't think we're done seeing some of this. And what was it, 9 or 10 now players that have entered the portal for Arkansas? I think it was 9 before Foucha. Maybe he's 10 or maybe he's 9, but somewhere in that neighborhood of how many players have already entered. Some more significant than others, but Joe Foucha's is about as significant a defector from the roster as you're going to find.
I would say he's number one unequivocally based on what he was for your team this past year. And what it was Mike Woods the season before. Now it's Joe Foucha this year. We'll have to see where he ends up. I know that it would really be a bummer to see him go back home to Louisiana, see him in LSU in that purple and gold. But I have no idea where he's going to end up playing football this next season. He has 1 year of eligibility. I just know when I saw that news, I was having lunch with my buddies, and I get a text, and it said, did you see the news? And I said, what news? And I pulled up my phone, and I clicked on, and I see a picture of Joe Foucha, and I just expected, he's entering the draft, right? That he's going to move on. He's going to try his hand at the NFL level. Little did I know at some point in the paragraph he mentioned that he's going to the transfer portal.
Well, the last 3 lines that were in big bold letters were about that. But and all of these guys got to write, and it's not just Joe, it's all of them that write these long, lengthy, thank yous for my time here and how wonderful it's been. And Drew, I heard you talking about this on what was it, Get Off My Lawn segment. I totally agree with you that all these guys use the same script. Thank the same people, appreciate their time. Everyone's fans are the best in the world. And by the way, I'm pissing on your grave. I'm leaving, So it all ends. They all, they do set it well. And then the hook's at the end.
I mean, why do I have to read 4 or 5 paragraphs
exactly.
just for the one little bit of information? I'd much rather have the guy say, hey, I appreciate the opportunity, but deuces and I'm out.
We only need 2 words.
Make it that simple. I don't need to hear how everybody is the greatest and that you had the best time and that you'll always be thankful for it, but you've just been called to another direction.
Oh, yeah.
Just tell me how it is, man.
Yeah. I mean, so I either need to see the words, I'm back, like Jordan, or see ya. That's it. That's all we need. And we can move on with the process right now.
It's like Jalen Catalon's video, I think, was 50 seconds before he mentioned, and the journey continues here. Something. So I'm watching that video. It's like, all right, highlight after highlight. Jalen, thank you. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, he's back. That's great. So I get that, whether it's videos, whether it's
well, it's just always the
paragraphs,
same thing.
Similar sentence. But
hey, that's what. Let's see, Monteric Brown going to NFL. Now you've got Foucha, you got Catalan back, but I miss who else? There was someone else in that secondary. Anyway,
Devin Bush entered his name in the
pool. So, I mean that.
Bush didn't play.
Here was my other thought. I was texting with some guys last night and exchanged a few texts with our buddy Kevin Hickey. Is it possible these guys know something we don't know yet?
I mean,
are their decisions being made on information they have, the rest of us don't have?
Monteric was likely gone based on his draft grade. Joe was out of nowhere, and Jalen wanted to get his up based on his shoulder and how he dropped in the boards. I mean, I don't know.
We're all left to speculate, but do they know something about staff changes or something else internal that, I don't know. But, I mean,
the only one that really surprised
makes you
me,
wonder that position gets kind of depleted so quickly.
Well, those three, I mean, again, I think you ask most people, Monteric was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen flew down the draft boards the wrong way. This is the only one that, to me, is surprising. Joe Foucha's movement and decision. I don't think the other two are surprising. Jalen thinks he's a first or second round guy. He wasn't going to get selected there. He's going to do everything to prove to people that he is that. Monteric proved that he's one of the best corners in the SEC and in all of college football. 5 interceptions, second in the NCAA. He's not going to have a better season than that.
Well, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. So, I mean, we'll wait and see. I mean, I hope there's nothing to that line of thinking. It's just my line of thinking. But, you read tea leaves like that, and you're like, maybe there's something more to this. Maybe there's not.
What would it be then?
Coaching changes. That would be my first thought. Some kind of coaching change there.
Okay. Who then?
Well, I mean, if he's the defensive side, what do you think? Be Odom.
Well, I mean, you think it's the coordinator? You think it's their secondary coach?
Well, I would think it would be the coordinator. I'm not saying that's what's happening. I mean, just when you're trying to just kind of read into what's going on here, but it may be exactly like you said. Brown makes sense to go to the NFL, and you got Catalan back. I mean, it may just be nothing, but that's not how a college football fan's mind works. Well, you always think the worst, right?
You mentioned NIL, so do you think he's leaving because
Foucha?
He's going to get money somewhere else?
I mean, that's what a lot of people are saying on Twitter. Now, that's just another fan opinion, but we'll see. I don't think you can answer that till you know where he lands, right? And see if there's some connections that make sense. But, and there's others that have said, listen, he gave your program 4 years and 2 of them in the worst of times. He has a right to go obviously he has the right to go where he wants, but maybe you should cut him some slack because he lived through some bad times. I can see that opinion. I don't necessarily agree with that because you've built something here, then let's finish it off. But he did suffer through the Chad Morris years like the rest of us. So, I don't know that you can clearly say this is an NIL deal until you kind of see what the answer to the equation is with where he goes.
I just wish for once we would, and this is never going to happen, but whether it was a player or coach when they depart, I wish they would just tell us why. I wish, I don't like this coach, or I'm about to get paid here, about to this, that, or I'm just tired of being here. I wish they would just straight up tell us instead of us having to speculate. And again, that's a wishful thinking on my part, but when stuff like this happens, you can only speculate at this point. You have no idea. And people say, it's because of this, it's because of that. 99% of people discussing this have no clue why Joe Foucha entered the transfer portal yesterday.
But we'll keep talking about it. But we'll keep jabbering about it. All right, we're brought to you by World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH is the number to call Ben. They do so many things over there, including Dish. They can sign you up with a 2-year price guarantee right now. The best equipment on the market. If you've recently cut the cord, you're missing out on whole home DVR, HD in every room, the ease and ability to go from one channel to the next, the ability to record so many things at one time, watch remotely, all of these things that are built in, plus a $100 Visa gift card and a 2-year price guarantee. Hulu, YouTube, none of them can offer you that. And you can get it right now and be installed before the weekend's up. 877-305-DISH. For World of Wireless.
Barry Lunny to Champaign, Illinois to coach under Brett Bielema seems likely. I'll tell you why next.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
This is former Razorback Jalen Tate, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
care.
When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Do you know the difference between admission and confession? Admission is acknowledging the truth of something. Confession is a formal statement agreeing that you're guilty. Greg Allman admitted he's no angel, but that doesn't mean he confessed his guilt before God. Romans 10:10 says, one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. Confess to God that Jesus died in your guilty place, and then you'll receive His amazing grace. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Pray about it.
BetOnline has you covered for all the holiday season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your #1 spot for all sports action. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus with the promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV to receive your bonus. And it's not just football. BetOnline has pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, even your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all these amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports.
Great staffs, we'd like to simply say thank you. And thank you for continuing to let me say Ed Walker's Drive-In, 1500 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, where the legend lives on.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Hey, this is Jeff, and I've been a patient of Marcy McKinney Dentistry for almost 20 years. Marcy and her staff have become like family, and I've recommended them to everyone I know.
I'm Betty, and I've been going to Marcy for 15 years. Marcy and her staff are always responsive to our needs. Biannual checkups, fillings, crowns, partials, and my 10-year-old doesn't fight going to the dentist.
If you're looking for a great dentist, call Marcy McKinney Family Dentistry for an appointment today at 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Each day we see familiar faces who have supported us from the beginning because they see the benefits of an active lifestyle. We're also always meeting new customers who are taking their first steps towards making running or walking a part of daily life. We have the opportunity to share in their successes and help them achieve their goals. The people of Fort Smith and the River Valley are why we believe we were voted one of the best running stores in America. Visit us and see how we can help you. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Frank Row Furniture is having a New Year's sale the whole month of January. Even little Marley has been running around the store marking down prices.
You better hurry before they catch me.
Frank Row Furniture is family owned, has in-store no credit check financing, and service after the sale. Frank Row Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas.
Let's eat the mouse.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place, the Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Let Carco Car Sales, formerly Hertz Car Sales, show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley in eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating people right. The friendly and knowledgeable staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced right to fit your budget, so you can leave with a peace of mind knowing that you are getting a quality, well-maintained vehicle. Come see the team at Carco Auto Sales, formerly Hertz Car Sales, at 2810 Midland Boulevard today. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales, when you're ready.
ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Roll that way with Clifford. Going to throw. That one's got a chance to be picked off, and it is. Intercepted out at the 42-yard line. Greg Brooks got that one, and Arkansas steals the possession.
All your favorite podcasts in one place. The Hit That Line Podcast Network. Brought to you by Breeden RV Center. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
By the way, first edition of Season 2 of Trusting the Process is going to get released later today. Fox Sports Radio's Aaron Torres, who all you can hear on halftime at 11:30, is going to be joining me. Really excited to get Season 2 going on that. So Barry Lunny Jr., he looks like he could be the next offensive coordinator for Brett Bielema's Fighting Illini, according to reports from both Football Scoop and 24/7 Sports. We'll tell you about those coming up.
Hey, when it comes to baling hay, the denser, the better. That's what Ty always says. Williams Tractor in Fayetteville, Berryville, and Bobcat of Northwest Arkansas can show you how to roll belt round bales and produce denser and higher quality round bales that will drive down your production cost while driving up the nutrition of your bales. A competitive comparison showed that the New Holland roll belt round baler provides savings in net wrap, transportation, and lower storage losses. So it's like being able to afford a new baler every other year. Stop by Williams Tractor. They're in Fayetteville, Berryville, also Bobcat of Northwest Arkansas. They're in Rogers. And find out more firsthand about the benefits of the roll belt round balers by New Holland.
I actually used to bale hay with my grandpa way back when.
Baling hay is one thing. Hauling square bales is a whole other thing.
They weren't square; they were circles.
No, so they were the round bales.
Round bales.
When I was a kid, I'm sure I was more in the way than help, but we would
I
haul.
was too.
We would haul square bales, and boy, if that grass was just a little bit green, you talk about heavy. You wanted those things to be. You wanted the late. I know it was hotter in the late summer, but they were a little bit lighter because they dried out. But you want to talk about having a tool that can mess somebody up? A hay hook. You know what I'm talking about with a hay hook? Not if you did round bales, but where you stick that in the end. And you got to hit it with the knee. And there's a technique to hauling square bales and putting them on the trailer.
I just remember seeing my grandpa.
A hay hook looks like something out of a horror movie you would use to open somebody up.
To shiv someone.
Well, it's just a big old steel hook that you ran into the side of the square bale, and a good boost with the knee to get it up on the trailer is very important when hauling square bales.
I just remember sitting on my grandpa's
in a long sleeve shirt.
Yeah, when it's hot as I'll get out there.
That stuff will itch forever.
I mean, I did landscape and I hated it, but I had to wear lawn sleeve shirts and lawn sleeve pants because when I weed eated, all the rocks and stuff and all that junk would hit me. I'd have to wear glasses and do that. And I realized that I'd come home covered from head to toe and I'd wear shorts and a T-shirt. And I was like, I can't do this. I just have to wear.
And there's nothing worse than you get the square bales and you got to stack them crisscross, get them to the top, and you're headed to the barn and you got about 6 rows high, 7, and whoever's driving goes a little too fast and boom.
They topple over.
Top of the whole, all your work down the drain.
Ugh.
You're not popular when you do that.
Yeah, you're getting chastised all over the place.
Or at best.
Or you just get the crap beat out of you, too.
Yeah, that could happen, too.
So this report again from Football Scoop and 24/7 Sports about Barry Lunny being the top candidate for Brett Bielema's Illinois Fighting Illini as their offensive coordinator. He fired Tony Peterson, his former OC, and now it looks like that Lunny's going to be the guy. And it's also being reported that Barry Lunny Jr. was there on Tuesday night. It's been there since Tuesday evening. Now, San Antonio's a long way from Champaign, Illinois. I actually have a buddy that works in the...
Not by private jet, though.
Yeah. I got a buddy that works in the football department out there, and actually another buddy that used to. And I actually probably should text him and be like, hey, is this true? Is this valid? Is he about to get the job? But I would think that it would be a step up. Again, Barry Lunny goes from a group of 5 offensive coordinator position with Jeff Traylor, where they had a fantastic season, the Roadrunners, to a place where, as you were talking about kind of before the show, that there's not a lot of love for Brett Bielema in this state now, but for Barry Lunny Jr., it feels like he owes him a little bit based on him getting back into college due to Arkansas's old football coach.
If you kind of know Barry Jr.'s career path, and I think you always got to say junior and senior because they're so intertwined, and the apple did not fall far from the tree in football knowledge and coaching ability. His dad is one of the best to ever coach high school football in Arkansas. Barry was coaching college football, after being a player and then a GA at Arkansas. Fitzhill, had some opportunities. He was at Tulsa for a little while, then went out to San Jose State with Coach Hill. And then when things didn't pan out there, when his dad had taken over the Bentonville job and built that program up to a championship level, he was working on staff with his dad for a while. And when Coach Bielema came in, he reached out, Barry did, to see about an opportunity to be on the staff, and he brought him in. He was like one of the only guys that didn't really have a connection, but a direct Arkansas connection, but not necessarily a Bielema connection, and got him here. So it was a big deal. And then of course he hung around with Chad Morris and was the interim. So Bielema gave him that shot. Petrino didn't really have someone that kind of fit that role. He had some former Arkansas connections, but not necessarily like that. So it's a great opportunity for him to get back in. I'm sure there's some sense of loyalty and appreciation from Barry's side. I would assume, I don't want to speak for him, about the door that Brett Bielema opened for him, and there's that relationship. He knows what he's getting into. He knows the man he would be working for firsthand because he's worked for him before, if this is indeed the way it pans out.
Is it that much better to get a Power 5 OC job than what seems to be a really solid situation Group of 5 job? UTSA, give credit to him and Traylor for what they established in, is it year 1 or 2 there?
Be year 2 now.
Year 2 for
Just
what they were able to do this season. I've always wondered that. I know there's more resources, but the competition gets upped, and there's, I guess, more access to maybe a potential job, because he's not going to stay in Champaign forever if he indeed takes this job. But I've just wondered, do you want to be just a really good Group of 5 offensive coordinator? Illinois is not any good at football. I don't think him going there is just going to dynamically change the outlook of the Big Ten either.
What's his career goal? What does Barry Lunny Jr. want to do? I believe it's to be the head coach at Arkansas or a head coach at a Power 5 school, but he clearly wanted the job at Arkansas. So I think it's very difficult for an SEC, or really about any Power 5 program, to hire someone from the Group of 5 level that's not been a head coach. So he's got to find a path, and maybe being a Power 5 coordinator leads you back to being a Group of 5 or Group of 6 or whatever we're going to call them moving forward. Head coach.
That makes sense.
Or this could be a direct line to a great job as an offensive coordinator at a place like Arkansas. So it depends on what your career goals are and the jobs you choose, because one job should set up a stepping stone to the next to ultimately get in the big chair somewhere. So I think I would assume that's what is on his mind right now, is the path to being a head coach at the highest level.
We'll have to wait and see. It wouldn't be surprised if we heard an announcement on this whole charade by the end of this week. By the way, Andy in Bentonville texting, he says he's hauled thousands upon thousands of square bales back in the day. There's nothing like stacking it in a 120-degree barn. Yeah,
at the top of the barn.
Yeah, not fun.
Heat rises.
Andy, I'm sorry, buddy. All right, coming up, more Joe Foucha talk, plus some quick-hitting headlines coming up next on The Morning Rush.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here and hitthatline.com.
Hello, welcome to virtual reality, where absolutely anything is possible. What would you like to do today?
Anything, huh? I think I want to drive the 2022 Toyota Camry. I saw it the other day and it looks super sporty for a sedan.
Sure. Here you go.
Wow, V6, 301 horsepower, but it's still such a smooth ride.
Would you like to drive it in the clouds? Again, here, anything is possible.
No, roads are great, thanks. Wow, look at this panoramic moonroof.
I feel like you are not understanding virtual reality. Maybe you would like to ride a dinosaur now, or a unicorn, or a dino unicorn that talks.
Hello, I'm Daryl, the virtual reality dino corn. Take a ride on me.
No thanks, Daryl. I'm good with the Camry.
Oh, okay.
Make the 2022 Toyota Camry an actual reality by visiting your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. See packages and options at toyota.com for feature availability.
The temperatures may be cooling down, but at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas, the deals are still red hot. Whether you are enjoying one of over 50 state parks or tailgating with your favorite team, Wheels has the right RV to help you enjoy fall in the natural state. And at Wheels RV, every new unit comes with a lifetime warranty. So get out to Wheels and see why they were voted best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Sir, the backyard's under attack. What is it, Johnson? Army worms, sir, and they're tearing everything up. Army worms. Launch a counterattack. Call Tri-Hill. Serving the River Valley since 1986, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest Control are there for all your needs. Just give us a call at 479-782-0404, and we'll put them worms back in the barracks.
We will make your life easier. Jody'sAuto.com will pick up your vehicle at your office or home or wherever, take it to one of our 3 locations in Van Buren and Fort Smith, perform any service your vehicle will ever need, and deliver your vehicle back to you. Hi, Kim Bircher with Jody'sAuto.com. No missing work, no finding a sitter, no sitting in a waiting room, no wasting your precious time that you don't have. Many of our customers tell us, you're saving me money. Pickup and delivery, it's free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. With our 3 oil change specials, you're going to find adding $10 will mean nothing. And we always have free shuttle service. You bring your vehicle to us and we will take you and pick you up in our vehicle. Honesty and customer service is always our #1 goal. We will make your life much easier. Jody'sAuto.com. JODYSauto.com.
Doe's Eat Place, serving award-winning steaks, has now added lobster tail and salmon to the menu. You can also enjoy delicious appetizers along with your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Doe's Eat Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Call 784-9111. That's 784-9111. Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Chapel Ridge Health and Rehab in Fort Smith is hiring dietary aides, CNAs, and LPNs all shifts. Chapel Ridge Health and Rehab is a newly remodeled 5-star rehab and long-term facility. Full-time positions qualify for benefits such as medical, dental, 401k, and vacation. Chapel Ridge Health and Rehab wants you to become a Chapel Champ team member today. Please apply at Chapel Ridge Health and Rehab, 4623 Rogers Avenue, or fax resume to 478-1014. That's 478-1014.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the River Valley's truck superstore. No one has a bigger selection of new and pre-owned trucks. If you need a regular cab work truck, Harry has them, and the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Over 60 full-size pre-owned trucks are in stock now, and over 250 pre-owned vehicles are on the lot. And for the first time in 90 days, new 2021 trucks are on the ground. When the other dealers don't have it, Harry does. The area's truck superstore. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
ESPN 95.3. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
Sanders, the tailback. Rocket gets the call. Touchdown, Arkansas. Sanders from a yard out, and the Hawks are up by 2 scores.
Did you miss a segment or interview during the show? Find it in the Bud Light Seltzer Morning Rush podcast. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
Biggest football news is Joe Foucha hitting the portal as of yesterday. We got some other headlines to get to, but I want to stay within this topic for a little bit because I know I was shocked. I was sitting at lunch with some buddies, got a text, saw the news, and just kind of sat and stared at my phone for a second. But what are your thoughts this morning? 877-377-6963.
Hey, the Fence Man is the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. Gate repair, building powered automatic gates. They do everything involving a fence. They built some gates for me several years ago. And anytime I've needed anything, Sean and the crew have always been there. They got 18-month, same as cash financing available, and they'll get to your job quickly. 782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
I had forgotten that you're going to play Ethan Henderson on Saturday in basketball. He had transferred to Texas A&M. Now, I don't know how much he's playing, but I do remember that he is an Aggie. So you're going to see some former Razorbacks that you play that's not just completely out of the realm of normal. And I don't know if Joe Foucha is going to stay within the SEC. I don't know where he's going to go. I don't know his rationale or reasoning for going. I just know that this is a big loss for an Arkansas football team that's losing a captain, a guy that had some big-time plays this past year, and it's a bummer to have to talk about this morning that it looks like no. And again, he could technically still come back to school, but based on his message, it doesn't look like that's even close to potentially happening.
Yeah, and I wish and maybe we'll gain more knowledge about what the motivation is for the move after 4 years. He's got a year of eligibility left. Why not Arkansas next year? Why somewhere else now? Those are the questions that we just don't have a solid answer to. Your mind's left to wonder, and we're in a day and a time of NIL, and we've been talking about A&M, spending $25 to $30 million to get some recruits in and their number one class, and we're just seeing, it seems like a daily headline or two about how NIL is affecting these types of decisions. You would hate to think that was the motivator, but that's the world we're living in right now, and it's certainly a high possibility that that's at least a factor.
So my question, and I was thinking about this yesterday, any pushback that KJ Jefferson is a top 3 quarterback in the league next year, top 4 I think I said top 4 at the least, likely top 3. He's going to be battling now. We'll see where Caleb Williams ends up. If he comes to the league, I'd have to put him over KJ Jefferson, but I would say Bryce Young is clearly number 1, and then KJ is kind of in the mix with Will Rogers, Hendon Hooker, Spencer Rattler. I would probably put him at 3 or 2, just depending on where it ends up shaking out. But we've heard from Nick Saban that Bryce Young has that about $1 million, right under $1 million NIL deal. If they win a national championship and there's a possibility that he decides that he might need to just move on to the NFL and not play next year, which we've talked about on the show. I don't know how likely a possibility that is, but that NIL deal is going to get bumped up. If you're the phrase, you're worth what someone is willing to pay you, I wonder, and I don't think KJ would leave, but I wonder if he starts seeing these quarterbacks pop up and he considers himself to be one of the best, not just in the SEC, in the country next year, and he feels like that he's not getting enough for what he's worth. Next year. This is something that you're going to have to keep an eye on moving forward with Arkansas football players.
So let's just let our minds wander for a minute, all right? Let's just think like paranoid college football fans for a minute, all right? We'll put our feelings completely on our sleeves. We'll have raw nerves and raw emotions here for a minute and think through some things. Who is the team in your division right now that needs a quarterback probably worse than anyone?
Team in your division that needs a quarterback worse than anyone.
I'm looking for one specific answer. But
Ole Miss?
Ole Miss, bingo, bango. Where is KJ Jefferson from?
Sardis, Mississippi, 30 minutes from the Oxford campus.
And,
I don't
and,
like
and
where
how,
your head's
how
going.
desperate is that program right now to find someone that can help them win
Pretty
10
desperate.
again next year?
So I guess
Get back to New Year's Day. Here's my point in all this. Do I think that's going to happen? Boy, I sure hope not. But the more desperate, my point is, the more desperate the program and the more 11th hour of the situation, the more you're going to get out of whatever group of boosters, whatever big business, wherever the funds are coming from. All right, throw in another $1 million. We got to have him. You know, it's become the Wild West in true free agency. And those are the things that when you're laying awake at 2:30 in the morning worried about next year's football team, they cross your mind that what in the world is going to happen here? And, oh, no, there's a team that's really desperate. Well, desperate times call sometimes for desperate measures. And I think that's what we're seeing in some corners as this NIL stuff, I think, has went, I don't know if it's completely off the rails, but when you're hearing things like $30 million spent to get a recruiting class, I don't think that was the intent of where NIL was supposed to go, but that's where we're headed, apparently.
So on this, do you think because I always hear all the time that Razorback fans are the best fans in the world, the best fans in college football, the best in whatever. And I don't necessarily if I agree with that statement all the time. I think that's when they're good. It's really difficult to be what Arkansas fans bring to the table. But I've always been shocked to see Nebraska sell out every single game, even though they've been terrible at times. There's certain aspects of certain other programs that I think they dwarf you in certain things. In this situation, we know Arkansas has a smaller population, not just compared to the rest of the SEC schools, but other than that, I don't know where the alums stack up. Relative to, I know that U of A is about 28, 29 undergrad, and graduates right now are close to 30. It's close to 30. That's the easy way to put it. I don't know where that stacks up relative to not just SEC schools, but other programs that have football teams and just where the alum count is. But I just know that this is going to get more and more competitive. I hadn't even thought about Ole Miss and Sardis. Now I kind of want Caleb Williamson up there, so they don't they don't talk to KJ of any reason. But I mean, with the 1 year allowance of anyone you can transfer without penalty, one time, anytime you want, and with the NIL stuff, you're going to see more puzzling things where guys just enter the portal and go somewhere else because they get offered. There's going to be tampering galore. Regardless if people say it's actually happening or not, or is. But Drew made a point during the break, and I'll agree with it. It's just open now. This was happening under the table. It wasn't as prevalent.
And not to this level.
Yeah, but it was I mean, we go back to the Cam Newton. Oh, Cam Newton didn't accept the $200,000 in Mississippi State because he wanted to play free for Auburn. Like, come on. What?
Now 200,000 doesn't start the conversation. So, it's exponentially different.
Yeah.
The fundamentals of what Drew is saying is correct, but we've added commas and zeros to the conversation.
And on this, back to Joe for a sec, I don't know if this has something to do with NIL. I don't know if this has something to do with him just wanting to move on. I don't know, because I initially thought he was just going to move on to the NFL draft. It wasn't the case. I don't know if it has something. And the other thing we have to get to, I scour message boards. I go to hitthatline.com and all this stuff every single day. I'm always on Twitter because I try and go through about 15 different websites before the show. And I've seen a lot of this is the relationship he has with Sam Carter. I saw the same thing with Mike Woods transferring out and had something to do with Kenny Guyton. Most of the time when you see stuff like that, people have no idea, and one guy says something, and then it just takes off from there. Now, that could be the case. I don't know, but I'm not there. And so if that is true, it has something to do with that, that's something you want to keep an eye on, not just for Joe Foucha, but others. But again, all it takes is one person to say something on one message board, and people take it as fact, and then they run with it. So I have no idea if it's NIL, something with the coaches, him just wanting to move on. And I don't know if we're ever going to truly know, because I doubt he just come out outspokenly said, hey, this is why I'm leaving the University of Arkansas.
And you can't do the same thing with opinions either. We have to be careful. Just because one person thinks something on Twitter doesn't mean the fan base thinks it either. But you're right, but it is a reasonable hypothesis that NIL plays a large hand in not just Joe Foucha, but a lot of transfer portal entries right now. Arkansas, I saw this, and this isn't an opinion. Arkansas was one of the first or the first university to form an entire department within its athletic department to deal with NIL, to assist athletes, to help arrange deals. And it seems from the outside looking in, and from the lack of headlines about blockbuster deals for star players, that Arkansas is seemingly behind the curve of other teams, at least within your division or your conference, that at least, whether true or not, you're hearing about high-end deals for at least a handful of athletes or a recruiting class or this or that. Arkansas seems to have a system or a structure in place. So is it the business community has not engaged in this process? Is that the lack of trust because of how lean the last few years of football have been until this year? Is it still recovering from the COVID year, and some businesses did great, but many did not? I've always feared from the get-go in this conversation with NIL, this was just going to make the rich richer in terms of college football and as far as recruiting goes. You don't level the playing field. You completely shift it and weight it towards those that are just the richest programs with the biggest donors, the biggest booster base, the biggest financial resources. And I think that's what we're already seeing. Everyone thought this was going to be great for college sports and great for the athletes and great for the product. And now not everybody's liking the taste they're getting on this thing.
When you say great, I just held the opinion that I didn't think it was fair that I could go to schools and a guy that didn't play college football and make money off, and I wasn't going to do it for name, image, and likeness. I just thought I never thought it was going to be equitable per se from the college sports standpoint, but I did think it was going to be equitable for these guys to learn marketing, these guys to learn business, and move on and be able to do that. And what I would say also about this, I think it would incentivize a good amount of players. It's like, I'm not going to pay you unless you're doing something, right? So go on the field, perform, and you'll get a benefit and a factor out of that.
But A&M apparently is willing to pay guys that's never taken a snap in college football.
Mm-hmm.
Reports of $25 to $30 million guaranteed for that class, that number one recruiting class. So, does this speak to how hungry you are to win as a program? How insane your donor booster base maybe is in some regards? I don't know. I still come back to a pragmatic approach that if I'm a business owner willing to support in this way, where's the return on my investment? Where's my juice for the squeeze? What do I get out of this scenario? And I think that's, when you got common sense thinking business leaders and owners or people that have pockets deep enough to even entertain the conversation, they don't give money. You don't get wealthy. You don't do better than the rest by giving your money away. And I'm still not convinced that in most of these NIL deals that have any size to them, that there's an actual return on investment for those that are putting the money in. And I think that's still going to be the rub in many, many cases.
I think that I know fans and fans that would be willing to sacrifice $250,000, $500,000 for Arkansas to win a national championship or win an SEC championship or get to a Final Four or win a national championship in basketball.
If it was that simple, they'd already wrote the check.
Well, the reason I say that is because there's a perception, if you do this, you do this, you're going to get it. I think Texas A&M fans legitimately think if they get enough, and again, the best recruiting class they've ever had, that Jimbo's going to get this thing rolling for a national championship, and that's why there's going to be pressure on him to perform. Now, Sam Pittman does not have the same pressure that Jimbo Fisher has, and he's not going to have it ever at the University of Arkansas relative to what he does and what he gets paid and relative to what fans expect out of his program. Even though Arkansas beat Texas A&M this past year, which is worse. We'll come back to this because I think it's a fascinating conversation. Again, what we started it with was Joe Foucha, and then just the speculation about NIL deal stuff. I do want to mention coming up here on the Morning Rush about Bumper Pool and the decision that he's going to make tomorrow, what kind of impact that's going to have on this Arkansas football program, plus some other headlines that I think are important as well.
All right, we're brought to you by our friends at Wave Rural Connect this morning. They have opened up and expanded new zones with Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect. That means you can get high-speed fiber internet to the door from Wave Rural Connect in new places surrounding Ozark, North and South, Clarksville. They've added new zones there. So call Wave Rural Connect now, 833-4WAVE-RC, and find out about new zones that are available with fast, fiber, high-speed internet to your door. You live in a rural area, you've depended on satellite internet, old school DSL. Maybe you're using an air card, tethering to your phone. No more. $49.95 a month is where internet starts. They got phone and TV packages as well. Find out if you live in one of their active zones now. If you're an Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative customer, 833-4WAVE-RC. It's 833-4WAVE-RC, or sign up online at waveruralconnect.com.
Barbara Poole announced yesterday on KABZ that he's going to make his decision tomorrow about whether he's returning or not. I'm of the belief and the opinion that he's coming back, but Tommy mentioned it before the show. I was of the belief that Joe Foucha was coming back, and that is no longer the case as of yesterday. I think playing alongside two guys that were COVID super seniors, Grant Morgan, Hayden Henry, I think that that's going to be enough to say, you know what, I'm coming back. Now, I don't know Bump's relationship status or anything. I don't think he's engaged or dating or married or anything. I know Grant was when he decided to come back to school, and that led me to believe that he wasn't. Hayden, I think, had an enticing offer from J.B. Hunt. I remember I was sitting down having lunch, and Mark Henry came by, and Hayden was selected as it's either him or Hudson's, like one of the 2 or 3 prestigious interns, and he had to, I think, give that up in order to come back. So I was kind of surprised they did. So I would expect, again, when that announcement gets made tomorrow, that he's going to be coming back, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, he's from Texas. Family's here. Sister and brother both on campus. One works in the football department. I mean, this is a family that's all in on the Razorbacks.
Yeah, he grew up a fan, yeah.
Yeah, he grew up a fan, didn't grow up here, but grew up a fan. There's, but family already here. It would seem to me to be a disconnect for him to leave and go elsewhere when the family, not just Bumper, but the family seems to be all in on the University of Arkansas, the Razorbacks, the whole deal. So, I think right now we're all in wishful thinking, and we wish he comes back. He may wish to go on and begin a professional career and life for himself, try his hand in the NFL. I don't know. But I have a hard time logically thinking through the idea that he's going to go play football somewhere else in college next year, just based on knowing the family ties, connections, and the lifelong affection for the Razorbacks.
I saw this report from Ross Dellinger of Sports Illustrated. The NCAA is going to change its definition of fully vaccinated to you have to have a booster if you're eligible for that. I was kind of surprised to see that because I thought we were going in the other direction, but that's kind of the big news.
Well, I think the CDC changed their wording to that as well, as far as the protocols for isolation versus being, what's the word I'm looking for? You got isolation, you got, I don't know why my mind's drawing a blank this morning, but quarantine. I don't know why I couldn't think the word quarantine. We've used it a million times, but part of their protocols, the language changed to just that if you have had COVID in the last 90 days, you don't have to quarantine or isolate, but if you've not had your booster to it, there's some language in there that they've changed. So a lot of companies, organizations set their parameters based on what the CDC says, because then you've got no liability from, you set a bad rule if it was, it ought to be at least as rigid as what the CDC says. And that they've changed a lot of their wording in the last 2 weeks. We know it went from 10 days to 5. So I think that was some of that language that changed in there.
Saw the NFL, because of COVID restrictions and the situation in Los Angeles, they, according to the WFAA television station in Dallas, they confirmed it that AT&T Stadium's a backup plan for the Super Bowl this year. And it was funny, we were just talking about Super Bowl in Dallas yesterday. It's not like we would suddenly jump in and go there, even though that would be pretty cool. But
that had to be a drastic COVID-type situation, right?
Arlington is apparently ready, Tommy, if called upon. So that's not surprising. I think Jared would love to. Man, can you imagine the Dallas Cowboys if they made it to the Super Bowl and they had to shift the game to Arlington to Dallas? That would be insane.
But if you're shifting it for COVID reasons and there's restrictions on attendance, and it would be a year where you don't really benefit. Now, Metroplexes like Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, they shell out hundreds of millions of dollars generally in a bid to get a Super Bowl. And generally you got to build a new stadium as an NFL city to get one. It's kind of been the path. But I don't know how that would work from the bid standpoint. The reason you do that is every hotel room quadruples in price for that week, and they all fill up, and the restaurants fill up, and cities feel like they're on display for a couple of weeks, and they make a lot of money back on tourism taxes. So would you make a lot of that money back on tourism tax, or how would that work out on such short notice? So.
Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, I know Dak Prescott was talking yesterday about Micah Parsons, who had just hit the COVID list. Here's what he had to say about the former Penn State linebacker and him testing positive.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the whole temperature of what the world's in right now, honestly. I mean, we saw the numbers go up here in the past few weeks. So I mean, I've told y'all before, we just got to be cautious and protecting yourself, trying to stay away from the big crowds, limiting the people you're around, and just doing all the things you can to necessarily control it. Something that we obviously don't have our fingers on and have control of this thing, or even an idea of how not to get it right now. So just do the best you can to prevent yourself.
They're going to play the Philadelphia Eagles this weekend. I know that's a big-time game. The Kansas City Chiefs also have a big-time game this weekend. We'll see what happens with the Tennessee Titans in their situation as well. Now, have you ever voted for I know we get our SEC ballots from SEC Media Days where we get to vote for all SEC and Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, stuff like that. Is there any other prestigious award that you've either gotten a chance to vote for, either in Arkansas or nationally, college football, NFL related?
The Arkansas Youngest Sportscaster of the Year award. I'm on that panel.
Okay, on that panel.
So
the youngest sportscaster. Weird. Who
best youngest sportscaster of the year?
Technically,
you've come in fourth twice.
You can't say sportscaster because I would not be affiliated with that because I'm not the youngest in the state sportscaster, but I am the youngest sports radio host and continue to be thanks to Drew being 3 months older than me.
But would I be the youngest sportscaster then? I mean, as far as I did a lot of work. I did Springdale this year.
There you go. So I mean, I'll take that to the committee when we meet later this month.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because I would hope that if I voted on an award, I would take a lot of pride. I would take a lot of effort, discipline. Clay gets a chance to vote for the Heisman Trophy. I know Tom's an AP voter, and we get to talk to them about that and just kind of the protocols of what goes into it.
I vote in the all-morning rush team.
There you go.
I helped put that together as well.
There you go.
Right up there with the Madden team, the all-morning rush team.
The all-Madden team. The reason I say that is because the biggest NFL storyline that's happened as of late is the guy's name is Hub or Kush. He is the executive editor of Pro Football Weekly and also does stuff for 670 The Score. He's come out pretty openly and honestly that he's not voting Aaron Rodgers for MVP because Rodgers apparently to him is a bad guy. Well, here was Rodgers' response to that on a guy that he said he has never spoken 2 words to in his entire life.
After what you said last week about what it would mean to win your 4th MVP, what do you think of one of the 50 voters coming out and saying yesterday, quote, "I don't think you can be the biggest jerk in the league and punish your team and your organization and your fan base the way he did and be the MVP. I think he's a bad guy, and I don't think a bad guy can be the MVP at the same time."
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum. He doesn't know me. I don't know who he is. No one knew who he was probably until yesterday's comments. But I mean, and I listened to the comments, but to say he had his mind made up in the summertime, in the off season that, I had 0 chance of winning MVP, in my opinion, should exclude, future votes.
The word bum is a word that I love to use. Now, we've seen different MLB writers keep certain people out because of religious affiliations or they don't like what they said off the field or on. I've always believed that it is solely based on what you do on the field. Now, there's certain guys that are elevated because of their likeness or some of the stuff of that. But when it comes down to it, I mean, my favorite player ever in the history of sports, Michael Jordan, was not a good guy. No one's ever characterized Michael Jordan as this great human being. But his talent and his skill speaks for itself. All those MVPs, the Hall of Fame, being described as the greatest player ever, he wasn't a good guy off the court at all. And no one ever was like, well, I don't know if I can vote for Michael for MVP because he wasn't a great guy off the floor.
But
what are we doing here?
We have seen this for decades in Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame voting. The writers want to make, well, this guy was rude to me one time at the soda machine in the clubhouse, and I'm not voting for him because he wouldn't. He disrespected me in 1984.
It's ridiculous.
Voters want to make it about them when it should be purely about the eye test and the stats test. And if you don't think Aaron Rodgers is clearly at the top or near the top of the MVP balloting this year, then you need your It's like Aaron said, take his vote away.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense. By the way, as we close out our headlines this morning, the newest trend, Tommy, to brag or complain about right now is women with pretty privilege. Apparently that's the biggest thing going out right now, which apparently is a thing in 2022. All right, more talk about Joe Foucha next.
2022 with a splash from Burton Pools and Spas. Save up to $5,000 on a fiberglass in-ground pool. This is a limited time offer from Burton Pools and Spas. Only the first 15 customers will save $5,000 off a new in-ground fiberglass pool. Invest in your family and the backyard of your dreams at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas. They are your source for backyard fun.
Hello, welcome to virtual reality, where absolutely anything is possible. What would you like to do today?
Anything, huh? I think I want to drive the 2022 Toyota Camry. I saw it the other day and it looks super sporty for a sedan.
Sure, here you go.
Wow, V6, 301 horsepower, but it's still such a smooth ride.
Would you like to drive it in the clouds? Again, here, anything is possible.
No, roads are great, thanks. Wow, look at this panoramic moonroof.
I feel like you are not understanding virtual reality. Maybe you would like to ride a dinosaur now, or a unicorn, or a dino unicorn that talks.
Hello, I'm Daryl, the virtual reality dino corn. Take a ride on me.
No thanks, Daryl. I'm good with the Camry.
Oh, okay.
Make the 2022 Toyota Camry an actual reality by visiting your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. See packages and options at toyota.com for feature availability.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Reliable, high-speed internet is available to rural Johnson County. Arkansas Valley Electric members in Oark, Ozone, Lake Ludwig, Mount Vernon, Harmony, and other areas north and west of Clarksville can sign up now for fiber internet, TV, and phone service starting at $49.95 a month. Call 1-833-4WAVE-RC or go online to signup.waveruralconnect.com. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources. I'm so excited to be starting our 30th year of helping folks drive better in the River Valley. With tens of thousands of vehicles sold, we've learned a few things about what our customers want when they're buying a nicer, newer car, and what kind of service they expect after the sale. That's why we have a non-commissioned sales staff, Rath Road Ready Used Cars, and one of the top Meineke car care centers in the nation. But we understand you still want to save money when you buy. That's why this month you can save up to $3,800 below retail on the biggest inventory of Rath Road Ready vehicles we've had in over 2 years. Plus, with used cars still hard to find, we're giving up to $2,100 above fair value for your trade-in. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. What a great time to save and start driving better today with Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
River City Bistro is Fort Smith's favorite place for lunch, dinner, and brunch. Open 7 days a week, both on the patio and cozy dining room. River City Bistro, locally owned and open weekdays 11 till 8, Saturdays 10 till 8, and Sundays 10 till 3. Want River City Bistro curbside to go? Just search on Facebook or Instagram for River City Bistro or go to rcbistro.com. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
Your number one dealer for Kawasaki is Wheeler Power Sports. Wheeler Power Sports was voted the number one dealership in the River Valley. With great brands like Kawasaki at competitive prices, you can never go wrong. Check them out at WheelerPowersports.com or check them out on Facebook. Wheeler Power Sports is open from Tuesday to Friday from 9 p.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Give them a call at 479-226-8724 for all your Kawasaki needs. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, an increase in the sunshine. There's a slim chance of seeing a few snowflakes across the north. Our high today, upper 20s north, upper 30s south. Mainly clear skies tonight. We're going to be in the low teens north, near 20 south. And then Friday, sunny skies, not as cold, or high near 40. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith. This hour of The Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
That's something I've been thinking about a lot. I'm going to talk to my coaches, and figure it out with them, and I'm going to make a decision in a couple of days.
That was 5 days ago when Joe Foucha was asked about his future with the Arkansas program after what we now know was his last game as a Razorback.
I feel great about my performance. I just want to show the world, that I can do it. My coaches believed in me, and I just went out there and flew around.
Foucha posted a statement to social media announcing that he is entering the transfer portal.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
People who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse. And we've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. I am dangerous.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
I
hit the 7-iron like John Daly hits the 3.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson.
You just got to keep living, man.
And Tommy Kraft.
We follow orders or people die. Are we clear?
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
You're the voice of Tara Talmadge of the Pig Trail Nation talking about Joe Foucha. If you're just hopping on with us this morning for the first time, Joe, as of yesterday, has entered his name into the transfer portal. I think a lot of people were surprised by this. I don't know if the staff was or not. But what do you do if you're Sam Pittman and you're one of your star safeties? He's not the level of Jalen Catalon, but Joe had a great year. And with Jalen going out, he had to step up. He's one of your captains. He's one of your leaders. Now it looks like he's out the door. How does this affect your opinion about Arkansas football in 2022? We'll get to that coming up.
Hey, don't forget Monday night. We all know the national championship's going on between Alabama and Georgia. Don't forget to go to Joe's Grill and Cantina to watch it. It'll be a great time to chow down on college football and half-price apps and taps. They're going to roll this out for the national championship game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. So the Mexican pizza, the brisket nachos, the sampler platter, and more are all there with half-price apps, and all the beers on tap, half-price as well. Half-price apps and taps for college football's grand finale, Monday night, Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Jeffrey texting in, he says, both Bush and Foucha came together from New Orleans. I smell roster tampering, either LSU or Jackson State. And if you're the NCAA, because you have opened up what is considered to be a Pandora's box, I don't know how you police tampering anymore. Because I think I'd have to go in to get to the bylaws and the protocols. I think it's okay to talk player to player. I don't think coaches on other staffs can talk to players on other teams. But these guys are friends. They played high school ball. They played travel ball. They did also different stuff. And I don't know if that's what this is with Joe. If he's going back to the Bayou, if he's going back to LSU, I know that would be a kind of a stab in the heart, and you'd be very disappointed if it was indeed the case. Mm-hmm. But you're going to see more interconference, interdivision transferring with the NIL, the transfer portal, and all this stuff coming on.
And when do we see, because I think we will at some point, the NCAA, with their enforcement division, start investigating, punishing, penalizing, taking away scholarships for NIL infractions? Because none of us believe that all of this NIL stuff has operated on the up and up by the letter of the law, right? Because everybody believes there are no rules in this deal. Well, that's furthest thing from the truth. This NIL provision has rules just like many of their eligibility rules do. So I think within the next months, probably not years, but months, we see some kind of investigation somewhere in Power 5 college sports that deals with NIL infractions. That's got to be coming, right? Because I think there's going to be too many people, too many ADs, too many compliance directors, and the AD in charge of compliance at said school that's jumping up and down about their division rival not following the rules.
Protocols, yeah.
And it's going to get too noisy, too loud, and there's either going to be a mass blanket mandate from the NCAA, or there's going to start being enforcement, because eventually, if everyone's driving 105 down I-40, they're going to start writing tickets at some point. And I think you're going to start seeing the NCAA get involved in this at some point, just to remind everybody what the rules are.
If you're Sam Pittman and you're seeing this news, hear about this news, what do you think he should do? And I'm back to the Joe Foucha conversation. What do you think? Do you try and convince Joe to come back? Similar to he did to Jalen St. John? Is his mind made up again? We don't know the rationale and reasoning behind Joe's decision, but I wonder how Sam Pittman's playing this, either in that locker room, behind closed doors, what he's doing or not doing with Joe Foucha.
You would assume that conversation had happened with Jalen St. John. Coach had not had a chance to speak with him before the news got out, and then it changed. But assume there was a conversation at least with a defensive coach, maybe not the head coach, and they've got some understanding of the motivation. Maybe they have none. I would think what he does next may not have anything to do with Joe Foucha, but it has something to do with, hey, we've got to improve our NIL game over here, or we've got to do, this may have nothing to do with NIL. We're just drawing that conclusion because that's the world we're in right now, with all this money seeming to freely flow everywhere. Sometimes exit interviews, pay great dividends in what you do down the road. Maybe it's something else they're finding out.
Joe Foucha has a career 230 tackles, 4 interceptions. She's played 2,300 snaps over that at the University of Arkansas. So he's a valuable asset. I know Jalen got a lot of the attention paid to him these past 2 seasons, but Joe Foucha has been a great team player and a great safety for this football team. So this is a big loss, and I would argue it's the biggest loss for the transfer portal. Now, you can separate the portal from Monteric Brown leaving, because that is more of a debate. Hey, what's the bigger loss, Joe Foucha or Monteric Brown? I think more people would say Monteric Brown, just because you don't really have a solidified cover corner on your team right now that you can stick on anyone and be like, you know what, he might still have a couple catches, but I don't anticipate him going for 200 on Monteric. So this is a big deal, and coming off the heels of a loss to Vanderbilt in basketball, and you got this crap you got to deal with this morning. Hadn't been the best back-to-back days for Razorback fans.
No, but while you're bummed out and upset about a player leaving, anyone have sympathy for the other side? Anyone have sympathy last year when all those defensive linemen came to Arkansas from Missouri? Did you feel bad for Eli Drinkowitz then? I mean, there's some give and take here. There's going to be players that come in. You can't be mad when one leaves, but then, cheer loudly when someone transfers from another school to yours. That's a hypocritical thought right there. So there will be somebody that they'll get out of the portal. Something will happen to kind of balance this out. Whether or not that player's as good as Foucha, don't know. But, there's going to be somebody comes in and takes his spot and takes his scholarship.
It's just difficult to foresee a guy stepping up like he did in this past season. He had a chance to be, I think, an all-SEC performer this next year. And you got to remember, the secondary that they had coming back, I thought was going to be the strength of their defense. So we'll see what Bumper Pool decides to do tomorrow on his future. The defensive line with losing Trey Williams, your best pass rusher. Doesn't look like Dorian Gerald's coming back, and just kind of what you got there, that's not going to be the strength of your team. But when you had Slusher, you had Catalon, you at one point had Brown, even though you thought they were going, you had Joe Foucha, you had Greg Brooks, you got Hudson Clark, you got those guys that have played at Arkansas for a good long while. Joe was I would argue Joe's, after Monteric left, was probably the second biggest piece to that secondary, and now he's out the door, it looks like. That's I think it's a pretty devastating blow if you're Sam Carter and you're Sam Pittman right now.
Makes you more thankful Catalan's coming back all of a sudden. That how big a deal that is. And did they ever establish a hard deadline on when? I know they were talking about that last year going into the season. Is there one for the spring, or is it only the one that? Help refresh my memory. I thought they put a hard deadline of like July 15th or August 1st or something. And there needs to be a deadline. Hey, if you're going to enter the portal closes midnight, boom, this date for this sport. So
I think you're right. I don't know it off the top of my head, Tommy.
Maybe you need one each semester. I don't know, but I thought there was a date and time deadline, at least in the fall, that had been implemented. I don't know about this time of the year. Hey, if you're looking for a new dentist, Riley Farm Dental at 5901 Riley Park Drive at the entrance to Riley Farms in South Fort Smith can take care of the entire family's dental needs. Braces, implants, cosmetics, and, of course, those 6-month checkups and cleanings and checking for cavities, all those things that are so important. You'll love the staff. You'll love the docs at Riley Farm Dental. They make you feel comfortable. It's a great experience every time. One of the reasons Dr. Sparkman and his crew have been voted best of the best every year since 2017. Been in that top 3 every year. Make an appointment with a call to 226-3500. That's 479-226-3500. Or see more at RileyFarmDental.com.
Saw the Arkansas Democrat Gazette and Whole Hog Sports put out the crowd sizes and the capacity this past year, what they had in attendance. What kind of crowds are you expecting this next year for Razorback football?
Streaming live from HitThatLine.com.
This is former Razorback Sonny Wing, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Hello, welcome to Virtual Reality, where absolutely anything is possible. What would you like to do today?
Anything, huh? I think I want to drive the 2022 Toyota Camry. I saw it the other day, and it looks super sporty for a sedan.
Sure. Here you go.
Wow, V6, 301 horsepower, but it's still such a smooth ride.
Would you like to drive it in the clouds? Again, here, anything is possible.
No, roads are great, thanks. Wow, look at this panoramic moonroof.
I feel like you are not understanding virtual reality. Maybe you would like to ride a dinosaur now, or a unicorn, or a dino unicorn that talks.
Hello, I'm Daryl, the virtual reality dino corn. Take a ride on me.
No thanks, Daryl. I'm good with the Camry.
Oh, okay.
Make the 2022 Toyota Camry an actual reality by visiting your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. See packages and options at toyota.com for feature availability.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Are your real estate investments being properly managed? Are you sending a check or cashing a check each month? If you're tired of your current property managers, then call Trinity Multifamily. Trinity will qualify your tenants and leases, inspect your properties, and take care of maintenance and provide you with web-based access to current financial reports, leases, and pictures of your property. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Your #1 dealer for Kawasaki is Wheeler Power Sports. Wheeler Power Sports was voted the #1 dealership in the River Valley. With great brands like Kawasaki at competitive prices, you can never go wrong. Check them out at WheelerPowersports.com or check them out on Facebook. Wheeler Power Sports is open from Tuesday to Friday from 9 p.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Give them a call at 479-226-8724 for all your Kawasaki needs. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Doe's Eat Place, serving award-winning steaks, has now added lobster tail and salmon to the menu. You can also enjoy delicious appetizers along with your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Doe's Eat Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Call 784-9111. That's 784-9111. Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Get the best value, service, and TV locally with personal service from Wow World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Stop in and ask us about the Hopper 3, Dish's most advanced DVR that delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now. Wow World of Wireless, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details or online at shopwownow.com. World of Wireless is located at 601 Church Street in Barling next to Frank Rowe Furniture. Come see us at our new location. Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Farm Credit has been a trusted friend for over 100 years. They are ag financing experts. So whether you're a longtime farmer, new to farming, or buying your dream home or land in the country, their experienced staff has a plan to fit your goals, needs, and your bottom line. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com. Farm Credit is an equal opportunity lender.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Beatty, but Basilak's got to throw now. Left sideline, Monteric Brown intercepted. Monteric Brown comes up with a pick at the Mizzou 47-yard line, his 5th of the year.
Streaming live at hitthatline.com.
So the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette and Whole Hog Sports compiled the numbers for this past 2021 season. Increased by 28%. Now that's from 2 years ago, not the 25% capacity that you had in 2020. That's kind of the numbers they did. But I think the numbers with the great games you have this fall upcoming, Ole Miss, Cincinnati, Alabama, LSU. You got some big-time games in Fayetteville this year. What kind of crowd are we looking like moving ahead into 2022? 241 days out from that opening game, if I think I had that right.
Starting early.
So, way early, before our Bud Light countdown. But we'll talk about that in just a sec.
You know, cold weather in wintertime means you should be thinking about summer, right? What do I want to do when it's warmer and nice here in about 3 or 4 months? Well, think about the backyard of your dreams from Burton Pools and Spas. Fiberglass in-ground pools. They've got 15 available discounts of $5,000. So save $5,000 off their already incredibly great price at Burton Pools and Spas with this great special here at the beginning of the year to kind of get you started thinking about your backyard and a new in-ground pool. It's $5,000 off fiberglass in-ground pools till this 15 pool allotment is gone. This is a special rebate from the manufacturer, and once these 15 are gone, they are gone. It's at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale, also in Fort Smith, and you can look more online at everything they offer when it comes to the backyard of your dreams at burtonpools.com. That's Burton Pools and Spas, where your backyard dreams come true.
So Arkansas was 19th highest nationally and 9th in the SEC in 2021, and that, again, is based on tickets sold this past season. It's highest you've been since 2016. Now, you just saw this Arkansas basketball team sell out. Now, I don't know, based on the way they've been playing, if there will be almost 20,000 people at Bund at any point this year. We'll see if they flip it around. I say, man, still even then, I mean, if they're not good, and people say, well, it's Kentucky, I don't see it. You had Texas in here, and people didn't know if that team was going to be good, and you beat the crap out of them. And the ones that made it, but it wasn't sold out.
Wasn't sold out, and wasn't the it was what, 9th largest crowd ever?
Yeah,
Or something
top
like
10.
Largest? Yeah.
That was the best. So for basketball, to me,
in a newly expanded stadium,
in a team that you hadn't played since 2014 and 2004 at home. Now with basketball, and Kentucky. It is the best basketball rival you had. It's the clear rival that you have. But I don't know if they're going to sell that. But back to football. Is there a chance that they could sell out this year? Any chance?
Sell out means 76,000.
I'm talking 76,000. Hunter Yurchek is having himself a cocktail because they sold every stinking seat in Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium.
I think it depends on a couple of things that are external. There's many factors, but when's the ticket deadlines and your donation deadline? It always rolls around like April. Like April 1 is the deadline to get your tickets reserved, your donation pledged, and pay for start the process.
Mm-hmm.
So how do things go external in the general world out here? This month, February, March. That's when the decision-making is done on these things. The foundation's going to start rolling out emails and rolling out letters and their communications to current ticket holders and then open it up. And what I mean by that, we all know that this COVID thing it's kind of back and bubbling right now. Numbers are high.
Good point.
The economy, inflation, all of these things kind of got some people, cautiously nervous. I think some people are maybe a little more nervous than others. I think some of these factors, particularly for the person that has not had this in their budget, Ty. So we're talking about the people that bought the excess tickets for basketball to get that sold out. Are you willing to commit that $5,000, that $4,500, that $7,000, whatever level you're going to be at? Are you ready to make that decision here in the next 90 days? I think there's a lot of things outside of the university that will play a large hand in that.
If you had a ballpark of percentage, is it like 2%, 1% that they could sell?
Well,
I think
let's remember a couple other things. Students get, 7,500 tickets or maybe a little bit more than that.
That sounds
then
right.
The visiting team in the SEC has an allotment of about that.
So you really have to sell and the students will get
sold. So now you're down to about 60,000. So 55 to 60,000 Razorback fans buying tickets. Now they'll take the excess visiting tickets that will get sold and open those up, but so we're not talking about you got to have 76,000 fans. The band has seats. The students have seats. The visiting team has seats. And I think that probably brings that number collected. And then the university reserves so many for recruiting and other purposes. I think that brings that number down to probably somewhere in the upper 50,000, nearly 60,000 range. So you got all your suites sold out. We know there's a waiting list to get into those. So that takes a good chunk out. I think the people that sit between the 20s, they're not going anywhere. They've had those seats for generations. They're not giving those up in most cases.
Mm-hmm.
They've already got that budgeted in. The question is, can you get average fan out here to commit to buying section 50 something, 51 something, upper east or west side, and buy those seats? Does the university want to do something with the price enticement to get those last few end zone or inline sections sold in that upper deck? Because ultimately, everything between the 20s pretty well sells. It may be single game tickets, but those sell. I think it's going to be hard to get a hard sellout because if I've got to sit in the last section of the upper deck on the 18th row, I'll just watch at home. But that's me.
And I will say, I was surprised that Bud Walton sold out this year. And
there's not very many bad seats in Bud Walton.
That is true. It's a little different.
They're all chairbacks, and they're all inside, and they're all. But listen, when we get football fever, it doesn't matter. I think you'll have some sellouts, perhaps for individual games.
Yeah.
I don't know that you'll get to a season ticket sellout.
If you start out 4-0 with wins over Cincinnati, A&M, Missouri State, and South Carolina, the Alabama game will be sold out. But that's asking a lot of this football team. Let's bring in Tom Murphy to discuss the latest news with Arkansas football. That is Joe Foucha hitting the transfer portal. Tom, I think the expectation was the only decision Joe had to make was NFL or one more year of Arkansas. A lot of people were surprised yesterday. Did you have any inkling? Did you have any insight to him making this decision that he made yesterday?
No, I mean, I think there's a few things at play here, and good morning, everybody. I
I think Arkansas is going to, if there's one position, think about what safety is going to yield next year. You got a guy like Miles Flusher who really, he gave up a few big plays. He gave up one in the bowl for sure, Auburn touchdown, a couple more. But he's a willing hitter, and he's a good kid to have coming up right behind Catalon. So you'll have Catalon back, you'll have Slusher, and I think you've got some other guys who, I don't know what, Jaden Johnson's ultimate role will be. Is he big enough to move up and play linebacker? They keep him at safety, but you still got Simeon Blair at safety. So I don't know. The guys who are coming back, those are valuable spots. They count now, and perhaps there was a conversation, or perhaps Joe Foucha wasn't feeling the love from the coaching staff. I really don't know, but I will tell you this. After the game, it was a rare opportunity for us where the players were out in underneath the stadium, spread out, and we could go talk to anybody we wanted who was in there. And Foucha was one. He was in great spirits. And I asked him, are you close to a decision? Yeah, I think so. I need a couple days, talk to my people. Yeah, talk to my coaches, he said. And then I said, are you leaning? And he's like, yeah, I'm leaning. And I thought that meant he was leaning to come back to Arkansas. So I don't know what happened in the in-between, but perhaps he wasn't hearing what he wanted to hear, that he would be a valued member, and we'd love to have you back and all that. I don't know, but you hate to lose a kid like that who's been a valuable member, but also there's kids coming up. You're recruiting people, and, safety. The safety positions come a long way in the last few years between the Tremaine Thomas era early in the 20-teens to now. There was a dry spell at safety, and now they got a couple three dudes who can play the spot.
And I guess the next question to your statement, Tom, was: is he going to be the only secondary player that transfers out? And I know rumors circulate over message boards, Twitter, and whatnot, but you've actually got some solid sources and some solid guys that you can speak to on a daily and weekly basis. Is there anything that has led you to believe that there could be another secondary player that transfers out of Arkansas that actually is played? I'm not talking about Turner and some other guys. I'm talking about a key secondary piece.
Yeah, I mean, you do always wonder, and guys, there are a lot of guys who are just team players, but people also look at their own stats and their own playing time and all, and so I don't know. I would think that, between the corners, Clark and Bishop and Kari Johnson and some of those guys, that you'd think they'd all be back. Greg Brooks, the nickelback, had a period in the middle of the year where they started Jaden Johnson at the nickel. And, how does he think about that? I know that he's got a very strong willed grandma. I met her in Arlington, and she loves her baby. So I don't know. I would think that at this stage they would hope that everyone else who has eligibility comes back to the team.
Yeah. Talking with Tom Murphy this morning here on the Morning Rush. As you look around, kind of the landscape now with NIL and the headlines about A&M's money that they're laying out, does this make the transfer portal and this process and this time of the year, does it give you more skepticism? Do you raise your eyebrows a little more when you hear of each player transferring? How much on the up and up do you think this whole process is around this league and around college football?
It's tough to say, Tommy, but there's been shenanigans going on in college football forever. I mean, you've heard Barry Switzer tell the stories about the recruiting stuff they did at Oklahoma. We know that back in the old SEC, coaches would stack up positions just so other teams wouldn't have this, it would be their third or fourth team quarterback, but they don't want the other team to have them. So they sign them and put them on the endless rosters they used to have. Arkansas, they did their share of that. And now it's about, there's so many different ways now that you can handle, payment to players. It's the cost of attendance stuff. It's the academic incentives that they can achieve, the NIL. I mean, I don't think the schools are supposed to be working in cahoots basically with companies, but what's to prevent that when the NCAA doesn't have much teeth? I'm not a fan of what seems to be a chaotic opening to the NIL, and it happened to come at a time when player rights and are growing at the same time the NCAA status and power is shrinking, and it does create a scenario that looks a little bit, I think I've said before, wild, wild west.
Yeah,
and I think you and I are kind of in agreement on this, Tommy. I'm a little bit concerned about where it's all headed. That it's the buyer, you're buying players basically.
I mean, and the playing field is more unlevel, not more level that as some people thought it might be, and the benefit to the player may be direct, but it's really, I mean, now you truly can buy championships. It's going to be the attempt by each and every school. Doesn't mean it'll work out, but it's sure going to make it go to the highest bidder for the most coveted players. And I think it just feels dirty in some ways.
It does, and to me, the most powerful teams that have been there over the last couple of decades are the same ones that are going to be the most, benefit the most. So I don't know if the NCAA will ever swing back and really have some teeth and handle these types of situations. The talk of unionism is a scary deal in college football because then you get all kind of stuff going on. So I don't know where it's headed. And I'll segue that into talking about Bumper Pool, who you guys might have wanted to ask me about.
Yeah.
And that's so he's got NIL opportunities. I heard when we were headed to the bowl get to the bowl and that maybe he was 60-40 in terms of probably staying. He's definitely considering going to the NFL. I mean, I think he would land on a roster. He'd probably be a mid to late round draft pick. A great kid, a great representative for your program. I think the NIL is a strong inducement. I think his dad probably would like to see him play another year. And if I interpreted Bumper correctly after the game, his mom, coming back to Arkansas is not that big of a deal for his mom. So I don't know. I guess tomorrow is the deadline day, and my thought would be he's leaning to coming back, but I think it could go either way.
Yeah, I guess for all the older guys like me and you, Tom, we've got to acquiesce to this idea that it's no longer about love of the game, love of your school, grew up a fan, following in dad's footsteps, all of these nostalgic emotions and feelings that have been there kind of to make you feel better as a fan, at least. We've got to acquiesce to the world has changed, and it's more of Ty's way of thinking. It's get mine, how much can I get paid, and wait till the last minute to drive up the bidder.
Why am I getting paid?
Because you're
20. My age group. Just because
that's the way it is. It's a me world.
That doesn't mean I think that way. Don't
lump me in that generation. That's the way that generation.
Okay, generation, not me.
All right,
that's a bit specific on that.
You're running my great point here. I think it's not going back. It's going the way of your generation, Ty. And Tom, I think the older guys like us, it's just going to have to be a pill we got to swallow and accept that it's just a brave new world out there.
Yeah, you said nostalgic, and I agree. But I guess today's generation would say antiquated. So
yeah,
there's probably a handful, or on each roster, just throwback kids who just want to keep playing football. And Grant Morgan just wanted to keep playing some football. I think Hayden Henry was the same way. So I don't think that the potential looming payday for Bumper Pool is, the uppermost thing. It's certainly a factor. But then again, I bet he would be in line for improved NIL opportunities too. So there's a good balance, and you can always take out an insurance policy, which is something that Sam Pittman tried to talk to Traylon Burks about to play in the bowl. Look, you can insure yourself and your future, and we could use you in this bowl game. But that time it didn't play, and it's something that there's going to be this balance of. And I don't know where players' participation in bowl games is headed, but it doesn't look good for the game.
Tom, I want one last thing from you. It's Barry Lunny Jr. potentially taking the Illinois offensive coordinator position. It's been reported by Football Scoop and confirmed by 24/7 Sports. Tommy and I were talking about it. He's got a great track record with his dad. He had a great season this year as the OC at UTSA. What do you think about him potentially teaming up with Brett Bielema again?
How about that? It just shows that those two probably had a really good relationship, I'm sure. And maybe Barry Lunny feels like his track, and I would like to think that Barry Lunny's playing a long game to wind up as the head coach at Arkansas someday. If it were me, and this is my home state and where I feel comfortable, that would be my long game. And he's still at an age where I think he could do it and potentially be a head coach for quite a while. It's almost like the Paul Petrino thing with Bobby Petrino. He needed to branch out and make his own name. So they had a great offense at UTSA this year with Jeff Traylor. I think the opportunity to do a Power 5 school is a great inducement. But it's almost like going to, the Kentucky or, say, an Arkansas of the Big Ten, not a challenging for the top of the conference every year. And so you'd like to think that Brett could recruit well enough and they'd have linemen and a tough mentality. But, man, you are competing against – you're in the side with Iowa and Purdue and that bunch, so I think it's easier to get to the top. But you have to get through Michigan or Ohio State or Michigan State to get to the championship. So I just hope that his schemes there pay off and they're a productive offense.
Tom, appreciate it, man. We'll do it on Monday, and hopefully get some more insight on why Joe decided to put his name in the transfer portal.
Yep. Sounds good. Talk to y'all then.
Tom Murphy with us. Just final thought there on Lunny. I don't know if it's the Vanderbilt or the Big Ten, but if you could just get to the middle of the pack, and I mean it from football expectations standpoint. We saw James Franklin just got Vanderbilt bowl eligible and got him a great job at Penn State. Maybe if you could go to Illinois, if you're Barry, and just get that offense in some offensive categories in the top half of that league, which that's not exactly a juggernaut offensive league. It's an upfront league there. Maybe that's enough to entice, a bigger brand of football down the road on your resume. So I think the expectations got to be put in relative terms there when you're talking Illinois football and the Big Ten. You don't have to be number one. You got to be about number 6.
I think they have a good engineering school, if I remember that correctly. I was told from my buddies that used to work there. He actually just texted me, asked me my opinion of Barry Lunny Jr., and I was like, y'all would be getting a good one if he ended up there. But Illinois State, Tommy, is the state school that all the dumb kids go to, and Illinois is more of the intelligent. So it'd be like the equivalent of like Knoxville and Vanderbilt, basically. So that's the way I would put it.
I just think from a football expectation standpoint,
it's
7 wins at Vanderbilt's, build the statue.
Yeah,
it's kind of that way with Illinois. They've not had a lot of traditional success there.
Can you name the best Illinois football player? Because I can't. I don't know. I know Ron Zook at one point was their head coach, and that's about all I know about that football program. Now, speaking of being smart and dumb, we're talking about the Tennessee-Vanderbilt comparison. Apparently, the NFL Combine is getting rid of the Wonderlic test. So I have a Wonderlic example in front of me, and I'm going to read through some of them. I'm going to ask you questions, Tommy, and you tell me. Select a word that is similar to gross: archaic, tense, unpleasant, untimely.
Unpleasant.
Okay. From the list below, select all the quadruped mammals that might be found as a pet in a typical American family home: dog, giraffe, hamster, cat, goldfish. Quadruped mammals.
Mammals is the key word there.
I have no idea.
Go back through that list. I know.
Dog, giraffe, hamster, cat, goldfish.
Dog?
Okay.
Question mark? What do you think, Drew?
I'm going to guess hamster.
All right, this one's a long one. Which of the following is not a whole number followed by its square? 13, 169, 15, 205, 2, 4, 11, 121, 8, 64. That's tough to do in your head.
C.
C, 2 and 4.
I know it's not A or the last one.
Okay.
It's not 13 or 8. What was the middle two?
I skipped it already because it didn't. All right, last one. You want to leave a 15% tip on a $33 meal. What is the total cost for the night? $33, 15%. This one might be a little easier. Is it $34.50, $38.45, $36.20, or $37.95?
$37.95.
Okay. All right. Well,
I would do.
I'll have to. I will tell you when we come back from break.
Oh, there's a hook. There's a tease.
When we come back from update, how Tommy and Drew did on their sample Wonderlic test.
Could get ugly here in a minute. Hey, we're bright. I know what 20% off is at Gaston's. Is that on there? Hey, if you stay 2 or more nights at Gaston's and you get 20% off your rate, and it was $150 a night, what's the rate? I mean, that ought to be on the Wonderlic test, because right now we can do that math at Gaston's and get 20% off, 40% off. 40% off during winter rates at Gaston's when you stay 2 or more nights during the winter time. So now's the time to book that weekend getaway. Valentine's coming up, maybe an anniversary or a birthday is on the schedule. It's a great time to get a cabin with a great view of the White River, private fireplace. All of their accommodations are private, individual cabins, so you'll love it. Plus, you can get a guided fishing trip on the gorgeous White River, catch those trophy browns, trophy rainbows at Gaston's. 870-431-5202. Ask about winter rates. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
Hey, this is Cam Little, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
The temperatures may be cooling down, but at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas, the deals are still red hot. Whether you are enjoying one of over 50 state parks or tailgating with your favorite team, Wheels has the right RV to help you enjoy fall in the natural state. And at Wheels RV, every new unit comes with a lifetime warranty. So get out to Wheels and see why they were voted best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hello, welcome to Virtual Reality, where absolutely anything is possible. What would you like to do today?
Anything, huh? I think I want to drive the 2022 Toyota Camry. I saw it the other day, and it looks super sporty for a sedan.
Sure, here you go.
Wow, V6, 301 horsepower, but it's still such a smooth ride.
Would you like to drive it in the clouds? Again, here, anything is possible.
No, roads are great, thanks. Wow, look at this panoramic moonroof.
I feel like you are not understanding virtual reality. Maybe you would like to ride a dinosaur now, or a unicorn, or a dino unicorn that talks.
Hello, I'm Daryl, the virtual reality dino corn. Take a ride on me.
No thanks, Daryl. I'm good with the Camry.
Oh, okay.
Make the 2022 Toyota Camry an actual reality by visiting your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. See packages and options at toyota.com for feature availability.
River City Bistro is Fort Smith's favorite place for lunch, dinner, and brunch. Open 7 days a week, both on the patio and cozy dining room. River City Bistro, locally owned and open weekdays 11 till 8, Saturdays 10 till 8, and Sundays 10 till 3. Want River City Bistro curbside to go? Just search on Facebook or Instagram for River City Bistro or go to rcbistro.com. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
For a dependable, fuel-efficient tractor from a company committed to the future, choose a Branson tractor. Each of our tractors is backed by a 6-year limited warranty with models available ranging in horsepower from 22 to 58. You are sure to find the tractor that is right for you. Make sure you call or stop in today at the new location for Bush Tractor at 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Again, that is 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Or you can check them out online at bushtractor.com.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Hey Arkansas fans, this is JD with JD's River Valley Restoration and Detail. We offer full details, paint correction, ceramic coating, and much, much more. There's a reason why we've been voted best of the best 5 years in a row. Stop by 5606 Towson for an estimate or give us a call today at 479-629-7486. Again, that's 629-7486. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. JD's River Valley Restoration, where we're making new relationships one vehicle at a time.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources. I'm so excited to be starting our 30th year of helping folks drive better in the River Valley. With tens of thousands of vehicles sold, we've learned a few things about what our customers want when they're buying a nicer, newer car, and what kind of service they expect after the sale. That's why we have a non-commissioned sales staff, Rath Road Ready Used Cars, and one of the top Meineke Car Care Centers in the nation. But we understand you still want to save money when you buy. That's why this month you can save up to $3,800 below retail on the biggest inventory of Rath Road Ready vehicles we've had in over 2 years. Plus, with used cars still hard to find, we're giving up to $2,100 above fair value for your trade-in. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. What a great time to save and start driving better today with Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Building a home can be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partner. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out at the web at artriallawyers.com.
TGI Fridays is the best place in Fort Smith for food, fun, and football. Your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith has your favorite beers on tap. And Thursday through Sunday, all drafts are just $2. Fridays is the best place to watch football with plenty of TVs so you won't miss a second of the action while enjoying famous Fridays appetizers like the loaded potato skins or Friday's signature whiskey glazed sliders. It's food, fun, and football with $2 drafts Thursday through Sunday at your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 and Rogers in Fort Smith.
ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Oh, yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, so I teased what Tommy and Drew got on the Wonderlic test. I think we probably did about 6 or 7 questions. Y'all got 2, so 33%.
I thought we only did 3 questions. I thought we got 2 out of the 3.
2 out of 3. So that's not bad. I mean, that's first of all,
good.
You don't have it in front of you. I have to write stuff down. That's why I always take tests and stuff. But it's not. It was not as bad. I was like, I don't know if they got 1. But I
think the results are culturally biased. Is what I think. Isn't that what Shaq said?
2 white dudes. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. Joe Foucha, if you haven't heard, entered the transfer portal. Announced this yesterday. This was news that I don't think a single one of you saw coming. And if you did, you're probably a liar because I don't know. I did not hear a peep about this. We heard Tom just discussing last segment about, hey, where are you leaning? He's like, I'm leaning this way, thinking I'm leaning he's coming back to school. Well, apparently he was leaning to enter the transfer portal. So hopefully we'll get more of an idea of why. I doubt it, but that's at least my hope here on a Thursday.
Yeah, and because if there's a structural issue, we'll just say, be it coaching internal, be it NIL external, you'd like to know, hey, here's what we got to fix. So it may be nothing. Sometimes after 4 years, you just want to see something different. You got 1 more year to play. It's your last chance to do something a little bit different. So far, I mean, I just think about Mike Woods leaving. Did that really work out great for him? No.
He dropped I think 300 yards.
I mean, I could list you a whole lot more players that have left, and they've ended up at a lower level or playing less time, diminished statistics. Generally, staying put, is where the greener grass is at. So.
Mike Woods had 219 less yards and 3 less touchdowns. Moving to Oklahoma. 219 less yards and 3 less touchdowns when he would have been clearly, I think, that even though Pittman said Warren's their second guy, I think Woods would have been your second guy. Now, back to the Hog Update stuff. Bumper Pool, as we heard from Tom, he's announcing his decision tomorrow, what he's going to be doing. Said that yesterday on KABZ, so we'll be tuned in for that. You've got Robert Moore, the son of Dayton Moore, the Kansas City
hadn't heard that before.
Royals GM, if you hadn't heard that. And Peyton Paulette have been named to the perfect game preseason All-American list. No surprise there. For both those guys, you're seeing them pop up on the MLB top 25 list. You've seen them pop up on different All-American lists, and you're going to see them continue to get accolades. Now, here's something to keep an eye on Sunday. Joe Burrow, he ain't suiting up. You know who is for the Bengals? Brandon Allen. He's going to take on Case Keenum because Baker Mayfield's having surgery. So you got a little Brandon Allen, Case Keenum matchup. I'm sure that's what every Browns fan and Bengals fans want this Sunday.
Yeah, I was listening to the end of that Chiefs game, and Brandon came in for one snap to spike the ball to stop the clock to set up the field goal after Burrow had
won the game.
Out. But, made the play before the game-winning kick. So, go BA.
Last Hog update tidbit this morning. Lou Holtz is 85 years old, the former Razorback head coach. Coach, what do you think about that?
Well, I don't get break my head cold, but
I tell you what I miss more than anything is Final Verdict. Tommy and I agree it was the best segment of any college football show. Mark May on one side, Lou Holtz on the other, and Reese Davis was the judge, jury, and executioner in some cases. And whether it's Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway, whoever those galoots throw up there, it ain't even close to what those guys delivered every Saturday night.
Nope, not at all. And they delivered that segment perfectly. That was the reason to watch the entire show. I mean, that would be in a lot of ways that was the highlight of the show for me most weeks. And that was at a time when Arkansas was really good in 2010, 2011. Paid a lot of attention to that show then because you had good reason to.
Helmet stickers.
Is there anyone that's more impersonated ever in the history of college football than Lou Holtz? He's probably the one guy people try to do impersonations of more than anybody.
I'd be hard-pressed to pick another individual. Maybe Corso? Maybe.
I don't think so. I mean, everybody tries to do Lou Holtz. Just the funny way he talks. So, anyway.
That's going to do it for your
85. That's a good number.
It's an old age, 85. And that's going to do it for your Hog Update, and it is brought to you by Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
George and Harrison is phoned in to talk about the transfer portal and NIL, and you're more than welcome to phone as well. Richard Davenport's going to be joining us to kick off an 8 o'clock segment of the Recruiting Thursday. George, go ahead, my man.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all?
Oh, we're making it.
Well, I tell you, I'm probably going to get raked over the coals about this, but I'm just going to voice my opinion, and y'all tell me what you think. This whole transfer portal and NIL thing, it has changed college football from what it used to be. We all know that. But I tell you, it seems more like it's changing it more to be like the NFL. And I'll give you an example. I don't know what Joe Foucha's motive is on transferring. That's none of my business, none of your business, whatever. But I can't see the benefit for I guess the colleges or whatever you want to say of these kids that are making 18-year-old kids that are making so much more money than they would have ever or any money that they've ever made, and it benefits them in a positive manner more than just giving them some money. And the reason I say that is I have to look at the examples of like NFL guys that got in after they got some money and got into trouble. Johnny Manziel being one of them. I just don't see the benefit of paying millions of dollars to these 18-year-old kids on these NIL deals, and then the transfer portal becomes more like a free agency, where it's where can I go for this business to pay me more than over here or whatever over here. I just see where this is leading, and I do not like it. I'm going to hang up and listen and go from there.
George, real quick, and I'm not going to rake you, and I feel like I don't rake anyone over the coals for their opinions. I feel like this is a pretty free-flowing program. And I think you're going to know, what's the dumbest part of your entire life? Mine was when I was about 18 to 22 years old. Now, some would say it's right now when I'm 27, but would you disagree with that?
I would not disagree with that, and you made a really good point. My thing is there not maybe some way they could cap this thing to where they could earn a certain amount of money and not have, access to millions of dollars at 18 years old to where they don't, know what to do with. And I agree. 18 years old was probably one of the worst points in my life.
Yeah.
So
George, what do you do for a living? You obviously know what I do. Do you want your salary capped? Because I know I don't. And I work.
Well, of course not.
Yeah, and I have a base, and I also work off commission with certain clients and sales and stuff. And I would be. Thank you, George. And listen, I completely understand where you're coming from. I get that, but I mean we live in a capitalistic society. I don't want to be limited in any capacity about how much money I make because I work a good amount. Tommy works a good amount. I know you don't want to be limited by how much money you make. So again, I understand like opening up Pandora's box. It's going to become more like the NFL. I don't know what the solution is at this point.
Put them all on commission. That's what you do.
I mean, they are essentially working on commission. The better you are, the more money you're going to make. Bryce Young,
yeah, but that's not true, or A&M wouldn't be paying $30 million supposedly to a class that's never played a down of college football. So,
but they're
paying on potential.
Potential, and that's a good word. But it is what? It's 5-star potential. So they equivalently, quote unquote, earned that in high school.
Atchley Air is proud to be an official sponsor of Razorback Athletics. Our service to the River Valley began in 1958, the same year that the legendary Frank Broyles took over as football coach. The Hogs have had some great coaches, but we've never had so many on campus all at once. Sam Pittman, Eric Musselman, Dave Van Horn, and Mike Neighbors, just to name a few. What an incredible team. We put together quite a team at Atchley Air, too. On game day, call the Hogs. When your AC breaks, call Atchley Air.
Your company is known for top pay and great salaries, but how do your benefits compare to the competition? Hi, this is Brett Good with Henderson Phillips. In today's competitive labor market, great pay is no longer enough. Call me at 479-651-2292 and let's discuss your benefit plans to make sure your company has what it needs to attract and retain the best talent. I am Brett Good with Henderson Phillips. Call me today, 479-651-2292. That's 651-2292.
Start 2022 with a splash from Burton Pools and Spas. Save up to $5,000 on a fiberglass in-ground pool. This is a limited time offer from Burton Pools and Spas. Only the first 15 customers will save $5,000 off a new in-ground fiberglass pool. Invest in your family and the backyard of your dreams at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith and online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas. They are your source for backyard fun.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Winter is actually a good time to paint. The paint store over here in Van Buren has the most popular colors on large sample boards so you can see the color in your home. Rather do some outside painting? Our low temperature application product allows you to paint down to 35 degrees. It's okay. Experience hometown customer service you won't get at a national brand and get free professional advice from our 34 years of experience. Come see Sue and her team at the paint store in Van Buren. Find us on the internet.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the River Valley's truck superstore. No one has a bigger selection of new and pre-owned trucks. If you need a regular cab work truck, Harry has them, and the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Over 60 full-size pre-owned trucks are in stock now, and over 250 pre-owned vehicles are on the lot. And for the first time in 90 days, new 2021 trucks are on the ground. When the other dealers don't have it, Harry does. The area's truck superstore, Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
TGI Fridays is the best place in Fort Smith for food, fun, and football. Your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith has your favorite beers on tap. And Thursday through Sunday, all drafts are just $2. Fridays is the best place to watch football with plenty of TVs so you won't miss a second of the action while enjoying famous Fridays appetizers like the loaded potato skins or Friday's signature whiskey glazed sliders. It's food, fun, and football with $2 drafts Thursday through Sunday at your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 and Rogers in Fort Smith.
Frank Row Furniture is having a New Year's sale the whole month of January. Even little Marley has been running around the store marking down prices.
You better hurry before they catch me.
Frank Row Furniture is family owned, has in-store no credit check financing, and service after the sale. Frank Row Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas.
Let's eat the mouse.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You have a job, kids, and a million things to do in no time, and now your car needs to be serviced or fixed or tires? Jody'sAuto.com will make your life easier. Free shuttle service. Pickup and delivery service free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. Jody'sAuto.com will make your life easier and take better care of your vehicle at the same time. Hi, Kim Bircher. See, the thing is, Jody'sAuto.com does everything. Everyday oil change specials. Tires are price matched, including the warehouse clubs and all the best brands. Any services, brakes, alignments, all the way to engines, and any maintenance. You are trusting your vehicle to a local company in business for 37 years. Voted best of the best time and time again. Honesty and customer service is always our number one goal. We will make your life much easier. Jody'sAuto.com. JODYS Auto.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, an increase in the sunshine. There's a slim chance of seeing a few snowflakes across the north. Our high today, upper 20s north, upper 30s south. Mainly clear skies tonight. We're going to be in the low teens north, near 20 south. And then Friday, sunny skies, not as cold, our high near 40. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris Fort Smith. This hour of The Morning Rush is brought to you by the Bobby Garland Baby Shed. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place.
That's something I've been thinking about a lot. I'm going to talk to my coaches, and figure it out with them, and I'm going to make a decision in a couple of days.
That was 5 days ago when Joe Foucha was asked about his future with the Arkansas program after what we now know was his last game as a Razorback.
I feel great about my performance. I just want to show the world, that I can do it. My coaches believed in me, and I just went out there and flew around.
Foucha posted a statement to social media announcing that he is entering the transfer portal.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
People who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse. And we've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. I am dangerous.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com. I hit the 7-iron like John Daly hits the 3.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson.
You just got to keep living, man.
And Tommy Kraft.
We follow orders or people die. Are we clear?
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
You're Tara Talmadge of the Pig Trail Nation talking about Joe Foucha and his decision to enter the transfer portal. Maybe you're just hearing that for the first time this morning, but the Arkansas safety has decided that he's going to move on from the football program, and that was news that I don't think a lot of people expected. Maybe it was the announcement of him entering the NFL draft, but moving on from Arkansas and going to another place is not something that I think many people were expecting to hear this morning. So we'll talk about that with Richard and some recruiting news coming up in just a bit.
Hey, have you missed our conversation yesterday with Brett Good, former Razorback and Green Bay Packer? You can catch it in our Bud Light Seltzer Morning Rush podcast. You can download that. Also, give Brett a call if you're the person in charge at your business or you own a business that needs just a better plan when it comes to health insurance for your employees, group health, group life, dental, vision, all of those things, retirement plans. Brett can help you with those things. 2292 is his number. He also does commercial and personal insurance. It's all with Henderson Phillips, and he services both Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and really anywhere you're listening this morning. 651-2292 for Brett Good with Henderson Phillips.
Richard, appreciate you always making time for us on Thursday. We're going to get into more some transfer portal news for Arkansas coming up, but this news yesterday I think was kind of earth-shattering for Arkansas football fans, seeing Joe's name enter the portal. You're about as well connected with anyone with current prospects and guys that are already on campus. Any news, any updates, or is the coaching staff trying to recruit him back to campus, or is this all but done seeing him go elsewhere?
I tend to think he's going elsewhere, but I don't know that for a fact. I've heard several different things, but nothing, solid enough to say this is the reason why. This is college football today. Guys, for whatever reason, can enter their name in the portal and see what happens. But it's somewhat surprising.
I wonder from your perspective, Richard, when you saw this news and seeing what Arkansas had right now, I thought the secondary was kind of the strength of their defense. And now with Joe leaving, do you anticipate them trying to go somewhere in the portal and getting a safety or an additional secondary player? Do you think that's an extra level of emphasis now with Joe out the door?
Yeah, I tend to think so, and I think they were looking in that direction anyway. Maybe as a corner, but now maybe a little bit more as a guy that could do both or just a safety. So, the portal taketh away, and it can add us too. So it works both ways.
Yeah, it sure does. It's just another reminder of something we know, but I think comes to the forefront right here is recruiting never stops. I mean, you recruit them from 8th or 9th grade on, building the relationship. You get them to campus, and now the reality is in today's rules, today's world, the recruiting process with a player it never stops, does it, Richard?
No, and I tell you what, I don't care what any of the coaches say, and don't get me wrong, it's different. Different coaches have different philosophies and have a different tolerance, but I can't imagine just recruiting in general is 24/7 basically, and then you add because of the portal, like you said, having to stay on top and recruit the guys that are even still on campus. Add that to your plate.
Yep,
it's kind of mind-boggling, and I've talked to several coaches that have gone to the NFL, and one of the reasons why they went to the NFL was because of the constant recruiting, and that was before the portal.
And it can get exhausting, and I just wonder, we're seeing in basketball, Coach K's getting out after this year. Roy Williams got out last year, and you wonder how much that the environment with the transfer portal and the NIL led some of the the bigger legends of current time to that decision. If in football, could you see a Saban, or could you see some of the more high-profile names say, you know what, I've got plenty of money, I don't like this new set of problems I'm dealing with. I think you could see some coaches leave the game sooner than they would probably had under the old way of doing it. Do you think this will drive some of the more veteran coaches out of the game at some point?
I think it could. I mean, especially it adds to the frustration of things. If you have a few, subpar years and you kind of look at it and analyze it and think, some of it has to do with all this NIL stuff and portal stuff. And I mean, none of this is going away. I mean, this change is here, and it's here to stay. So it's you either have a choice to adapt or maybe get out early, and I could see it driving some coaches out. And then even some of the younger coaches that are in college football now, how long before it starts to wear on them, and they start thinking, man, I don't know if and obviously the money's very good, and that keeps a lot of people still in the game. But also it could also kind of make some look at the NFL a little bit more.
And I think you may also see for that handful of five-star type players in football or even in basketball, forget the early signing period. They're going to make these schools kind of outbid each other to the final hour, maybe down to the 2 or 3 schools they want. And why sign early? Push everybody to the deadline. Why commit early? Push them to the deadline because as we've seen some reports with A&M and other schools, the closer to the deadline, the more desperate they get to have you, the more the boosters seem to come up with. So you hate to think it's turned into going to the highest bidder, but I think you're going to see more and more of these elite guys probably not commit early and wait till the final minute to do it.
I think you got a point, and and it's and I know some people look at younger people, look at some of the older people, and go, "Man, times change. You got to get with it." I was even talking to a younger person yesterday who thinks it's running the game. NIL is running the game. Whether it is or not, we don't know. I think 3, 5, 10 years from now, we'll be able to look back on it with a little bit more educated thought process. But right now, I mean, some of the reports you see, it is you have to be concerned about the game.
Richard Davenport talking a little recruiting with us here on the Morning Rush. So, Richard, you brought up a statement. You didn't add on what the full statement is. Basically, I've heard people say over the years, adapt or die. And Arkansas could be in a situation with this whole change of philosophies within recruiting that they have to adapt. And I think we've seen it a little bit with Arkansas getting flagship going. It was either the first or one of the first, if I remember that correctly. But I ask you this, what does Arkansas need to improve on when it comes to NIL? People may not like it, but they like winning football teams. And if you're not heavily focused in this right now, you're going to get left at the curb.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of hard. I see some of the reports of other teams, and it's kind of hard to know, exactly how the vast majority of other teams are doing. And I'm sure they're probably a lot like Arkansas. I know several guys on the football team are doing very well, and I don't know if they tell recruits or willing to tell recruits and families how well they're doing, but that could be a selling point. Obviously, you want the business community to kind of come on board as much as possible, but I'm not sure Arkansas is totally behind the curve. I'm not saying they're ahead, but I was talking to a source, and the source is pretty well connected, and thinks that it had an educated guess of about 40 to 50 guys on the team have NIL deals. Obviously, you have some that are top tier, then some below that, and some getting gift cards or something like that. I get that, but there's maybe a few more guys on the team doing pretty good than what maybe people think. Now, are they doing as well as maybe some of the other places where you're seeing some of this stuff come out about some of the deals that are being made? I can't say that, but that's just something. I think this is an evolving situation where schools are evaluating their situation with NIL with the business community and trying to come up with solutions.
We're talking about Arkansas recruiting-wise, and one of the guys that I was asking you about yesterday was Jackson Player. I think it's the Tulsa defensive lineman. Can you kind of share an update on Player and kind of where he stands right now? I think he's got Arkansas in his top 5.
Yeah, like I said, he's got Arkansas in his top 5 along with OU, OSU, TCU, and Baylor. He told me yesterday that he's going to be making an official visit January the 14th, 16th. The dead period ends the 13th, so his first official visit's Arkansas. Obviously, Coach Ashley, the defensive line coach at Arkansas, recruited him and coached him at Tulsa. So that pre-existing relationship is a big plus for Arkansas, and I think it's very promising that he's taking his first official to Arkansas. And hey, it's somewhat of an easy sell to me. If you're saying, hey, look at the 3 guys that started on the defensive line last year were guys that came from the portal, you could be next. I mean, that's a pretty impressive thing to throw out to him, along with other things the program could sell.
Richard, appreciate it as always, man. By the way, it is National Bean Day, so I don't know if you're gonna have some beans and bread or chili.
Navy, pill,
you can go all
bread.
over the place. I know you like food, man, so have some beans today.
Yeah.
Just not around the
I'm
wife.
glad you told me that because I've been wondering when's National Bean Day coming up, and I'll be darned if it's not today.
I thought it was a week from. today. That's what
too.
I had on my. I guess I was.
We got to get this communication down a little bit better.
People
I'm not
mix
gonna lie
up.
to you. It's National Bean Day is the day that I've been waiting on all year now.
Needs to
Now
follow.
I'm kind of unprepared.
Yeah, it needs to follow National Cornbread Day yesterday. You know that's what we need: beans and cornbread. So.
There you go. Come on, man, pick it up, big guy.
I need to give better heads up on that. But enjoy some of those pinto beans later on, RD.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.
All right, Richard Davenport with us here. Recruiting Thursday on the Morning Rush. Wave Rural Connect is live in the Clarksville zone, covering areas south and north and west of Clarksville. Places like Ozone, Oark, Lake Ludwig, Harmony, Mount Vernon. If you live in those areas or around those areas and you are being just hounded daily with terrible internet and overpriced internet service, call 833-4WAVE-RC or sign up online at waveruralconnect.com. High-speed fiber internet to your door, $49.95 a month is where plans begin, plus they have TV and phone packages as well. That's 833-4WAVE-RC or online at waveruralconnect.com. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities they serve.
I want to remind everyone, Bumper Pool is making his decision tomorrow on if he's coming back for the 2022 football season. Announced that on KBZ earlier this week. Now, I brought up National Bean Day for a reason. You watched the season finale of Yellowstone, as I think 11.7 million other people did, if I remember those number right. Yeah, they're getting up there with the Game of Thrones and the Walking Dead. This is one of the, at one point in time, it was only playing in select markets. Now it's playing everywhere. Costner, as you kind of said yesterday.
It made Paramount. I mean, no one knew what Paramount Network was until this show came out.
I had no idea what it was, and then it's just exploded. And in this latest
1883 looks really good, too. I've watched the
Is that because of Faith Hill?
Well, she doesn't hurt things, but I mean, it's just a good show, you know.
Isabel May, her daughter in the show, is not too shabby to look at either.
No.
So in this final episode, I know maybe some of you haven't watched it, maybe some of you haven't started it. I would highly encourage it to. Tommy and myself really both enjoy it. But in this last episode, in the season finale of season 4, there was something that I wanted to share, and it was the conversation that Jimmy, his new girlfriend, and some of the other guys had about beans in chili.
Saying it's not chili. Really? It's got beans in it. The whole point of chili is using all the shit you got in the kitchen. You put anything you want. No, that's stew. As soon as you put beans in chili, it ain't chili. What the call it in Texas?
They don't call it anything because it doesn't exist. It's got beans in it.
They don't eat beans in Texas? They eat beans all day. They just don't eat them in chili. Well, Texas gets its out of in chili. Because they invented.
Will you all shut the up? I can't eat whatever the you call it, but you jabbering.
It's good. It's just not chili.
I will say, if you do watch that show, I hope you don't have sensitive ears. My dad can't watch it because he said, and I quote Ty, there's too much swearing in there. I swear off like a sailor off air, so it doesn't really bother me. But the audio's muffled. It's not great. I couldn't pull it from. There wasn't a way for me to record it and pull it, but they put it up on Twitter. So the muffled conversation that you heard was the group of people discussing whether beans and chili was still chili. And we love chili here on the Morning Rush. I've eaten 8 chili dogs before in about 20 minutes here. Might have to do that again just to prove a point. But I wonder from y'all's perspective, as it is National Bean Day, I would rather have chili without beans. I'll eat it with beans. But if I have my choice, if I have my druthers, I'm going without beans. But is beans and chili good? And then also, what are the best type of beans outside of that? I'm going refried.
First, I'm with you. I can go either way. If I'm having chili dogs, no beans.
Okay.
That's a
good point.
We make 2 different kinds of chili at our house. A hot dog chili that's got more ketchup and mustard and tomato sauce in the recipe. Finely chopped hamburger meat, onions. Very simple recipe that's great. It's called hot dog chili. Google it. It's an out there recipe. But if I'm making a pot of chili because I want a hot, hearty bowl of chili, you got to have beans in it. So I can go either way on that. Favorite kind of beans? I like ranch style if I'm going canned beans. If I'm going to make like a crock pot of beans, give me red beans and rice.
That's hard to beat. Red beans and rice, fantastic. Had that
But if we're going to just open up a can as a side to something, quick and easy, ranch-style beans with a little jalapenos in it.
I've been eating green beans this week. I don't know if that counts.
I was about to say, does green beans count? Because if green beans count,
does that count? I'll defer to you.
Green beans is I don't know if it fits into the legume category. It's more of a vegetable to me. But
what are beans? Are beans not vegetables?
They're legumes, right?
Derek in Fayetteville says he has to eat beans with his chili because it helps clear his valves. I'm assuming valves are certain
downstairs.
Downstairs. Okay. Weston Seagrave said no beans in the chili at his house. Now, you were talking about green beans. What were you going to say?
Oh, well, when I'm making chili, I'm like Tommy. If I'm making a bowl of chili, it's got to have beans in it because, one, I just don't feel like because if I'm making chili, that's a meal in itself.
Yes.
And without the beans, it's not filling enough. Yeah. It doesn't go the extra mile.
Okay. Jamie May says chili dog, like you said, no beans. Pot of chili, like I just said, with beans. Ranch-style beans or pinto bean strain are also some of Jamie May's favorite. Cody's
the kind I mean, if I'm making a pot of chili, at least one can and probably two of ranch-style beans go in there. I just like the flavor of that sauce. So.
Cody says, let me go back to this text. Pintos left over the ham and bone. That's the way to do it.
Now, when I was growing up, and until the very last couple of years until after my grandfather died, and then the last few years, my mom's mom, Mildred Carter, would make. Mom's mom. Okay. So my grandmother on my mom's side would make navy beans, white beans, and burgers every Saturday. It was,
standard,
and a lot of the family would just kind of roll in on Saturdays. And it was the best beans you were ever going to eat. And she'd make great burgers. And, just skillet fried. And that was an every Saturday thing unless it was Christmas Day, more or less. You could count on a pot of beans and burgers on Saturday. It's just what we did,
That sounds good.
I found my way out there quite a bit.
I can imagine.
A little pepper sauce in it. She always had the nice little chunks of ham. It was perfect.
My grandmother, one is known for her chicken and dumplings. The other one is known for her pizza bows, which is like the bow tie pasta with pizza sauce and some other stuff. And then also her fried potatoes. Fried potatoes, onions, sauce. Oh, it's delicious.
My dad's dad was raised on a tobacco farm in North Carolina. And it was during the Great Depression. Both my grandparents grew up in that era.
Mm-hmm.
And they had, because of the time, he didn't like pinto beans as much later in life because they had beans 3 meals a day is what he always talked about. Everything came out of an iron skillet or an iron pot, because that's how it was back then on the farm in the 30s. But pinto beans were served 3 times a day.
See,
part of growing up on a farm.
My parents told me that I'm probably going to get tired of chicken thighs because the majority of my meals Monday through Friday are chicken thigh.
That's part of the chicken.
Rice, mushroom, spinach. That's the majority. Maybe I do get tired of it, but when I go to the grocery store, and I think one of the reasons I may be able to keep my grocery bill between $30 or $40 each week is that I eat the same thing pretty much in the smoothie at lunch and then the chicken thighs at dinner.
How do you do it? How do you not just need more variety? I literally probably have a rotation of 10 to 15 meals that I make throughout 3-4 weeks. I can't have the same thing over and over and over again. I need variety of flavors.
I'm weird where I could eat pizza every single day, and I could also, when I listen to certain songs or music, Tommy, I'll listen to that same song every day. I'm very unorthodox in that approach. I know it's odd, and I know it's weird. That's how it goes. We got a lot of comments on the bean things. We might wrap up the show with this because
I've got a ham bone from Thanksgiving I put in the freezer. Still got some goodness left on it to make a good pot of beans. Right now is a great time for a bowl of beans or a bowl of soup. I got it wasn't beans, but it's the tomato basil soup at River City Bistro. I went there the other night. And it's a perfect get a grilled cheese and their tomato basil soup. It is a great meal this time of year at River City. They always have some kind of great soup. Always the Italian. They had the chicken noodle the other night. Cream of asparagus. Don't dismiss it cursory on the surface. That is really good too. Always a great homemade soup every day, and it pairs well with one of their sandwiches or a half sandwich and a bowl of soup for lunch. Try it today. River City Bistro, Stonewood Village Shopping Center in Fort Smith.
All right, coming up, we'll talk about Barry Lundy Jr. potentially becoming the OC at Illinois.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
Hey, this is former Razorback Quinn Grovey, and you're listening to The Morning Rush. Hello.
Here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Do you know the difference between admission and confession? Admission is acknowledging the truth of something. Confession is a formal statement agreeing that you're guilty. Greg Allman admitted he's no angel, but that doesn't mean he confessed his guilt before God. Romans 10:10 says, one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. Confess to God that Jesus died in your guilty place, and then you'll receive His amazing grace. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Pray about it.
BetOnline has you covered for all the holiday season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your #1 spot for all sports action. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus with the promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV to receive your bonus. And it's not just football. BetOnline has pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, even your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all these amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports.
And one of the top Meineke car care centers in the nation. But we understand you still want to save money when you buy. That's why this month you can save up to $3,800 below retail on the biggest inventory of Wrath Road Ready vehicles we've had in over 2 years. Plus, with used cars still hard to find, we're giving up to $2,100 above fair value for your trade-in. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke car care center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. What a great time to save and start driving better today with Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Wrath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, wrathauto.com.
Do you own apartment complexes, condos, and rental property? Then you have made a great investment. Now make another great decision by calling Trinity Multifamily to help you maximize your return. Trinity Multifamily offers full-service property management, marketing, leasing, sales, and all the services to make your cash flow. Take the hassles and frustrations out of ownership and call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Get the best value, service, and TV locally with personal service from Wow World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Stop in and ask us about the Hopper 3, Dish's most advanced DVR that delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now. Wow World of Wireless, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details, or online at shopwownow.com. World of Wireless is located at 601 Church Street in Barling next to Frank Rowe Furniture. Come see us at our new location. Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
ESPN 95.3. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
Jefferson going to throw a fade to Burks, caught it midfield, trailing inside the Bama 40. He's got a chance to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Did you miss a segment or interview during the show? Find it in the Bud Light Seltzer Morning Rush podcast. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, we got a couple things to get to this segment. Barry Lunny Jr. looks like he's going to end up as the Illinois offensive coordinator. Joe Foucha, that news. Bumper Pool, his decision as well. Also got your SEC update later on in this hour, and there's some pretty tantalizing discussions around that as well. Some news that I think you want to stay tuned for.
Yeah, and also there's some great high school basketball that gets underway today at Bentonville West High School. I want to tell you about that here for just a second as well. First, I want to remind you that Monday night, half-price apps and taps for the national championship game at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. It's college football's grand finale. You can enjoy the game with all the appetizers half price. Mexican pizza, brisket nachos, sampler platter, and more. And then every beer on tap is half price as well during the game. So for the national championship game, college football's grand finale, Monday night, be at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Oh, I thought you were going to...
Let me pull it up here.
Okay. All right. So real quick, I'll update you on this Barry Lunny Jr. news. I'm getting kind of text within that program right now for a buddy that works up there. 24/7 Sports and Football Scoop. Football Scoop had it first. We're reporting that Lunny Jr. looks like the number one target at Brett Bielema. It looks like it's going to happen. Barry Lunny Jr., good recruiter, good X's and O guy. Could be an additional element, a great element for Brett Bielema. Now, Illinois is never going to have a top-tier football program. We're the Big Ten. They're not beating Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa every single year. But if Lunny can kind of get things going where it's middle of the pack, win some games they're not supposed to. I know they beat Penn State in overtime earlier this year. Then he could build himself somewhat of a brand at, hey, high success rate at UTSA, a group of 5, good success rate at Power 5. Parlay that to maybe a group of 5 head coaching job.
Yeah, I think he's got a career path in mind. All right, before we get to Robert's call, he's been holding patiently. Let me remind you or tell you, if you don't know already, the Hoop Hall South is coming to Bentonville beginning today at Bentonville West High School. I'm talking premier teams from across the country for some outstanding high school basketball. It begins today at 4:30. You've got Chaminade High against Cardinal Hayes. Then the second game is Bentonville versus Bentonville West, and that will be a 6A West girls game. And then Dream City Christian versus Legacy High School, and those are the 3 games today. Tomorrow, Cardinal Hayes versus Little Rock Parkview. Coronado, who I believe is out of California, is taking on Carver High School out of Washington, D.C. And then Bentonville and Bentonville West play each other Friday night. 3 great games Saturday. Tomorrow, Greg White is going to join us and kind of give us a recap of day 1 and talk about the last 2 games as well. So that's coming up. You want to see some great ball? That's coming up today at Bentonville West beginning at 4:30.
A big topic of discussion this week has been surrounding NIL, and I don't know how valid the reports are for Texas A&M spending $25 to $30 million. I can't necessarily verify that. I can't call their program and be like, "Yo, is this true?" But I do know that it's made headlines in a lot of different places. And Robert in Fayetteville, he's got some thoughts on NIL this morning. Go ahead, Robert.
Okay, but before I do that, you might want to tag that last segue that Tommy made. He may be in the Segway Hall of Fame for that one. That bean thing into the restaurant pitch. That was I think that was world class right there, Tommy. You get major points.
I paint in segues like some artists do in oils and tapestries. What was that from the Christmas story? Yeah. So
officially the Segway King.
Thank you.
So NIL. I got two positions on this. Questions, thoughts, whatever you want to call it, opinions. I think this NIL thing, you're seeing it. To me, it just popped in my head when this Foucha thing came to be. I think you're gonna see two things happen. I don't know if athletic departments can make an athlete sign a contract or not, like a company can maybe. But if Arkansas develops these 2 and 3 stars into superstars, and then they just bail in the last year or two of being here, Arkansas developed them, so they took the time, spent the money on their education and training and developing a player, and then all of a sudden when he gets to be good and he makes the national stage, he bails for another school. That's a waste of our money. I'm sorry. I get Foucha, more power to you. You're a business major and you get offered money to go to work for somebody and you drop out of school or whatever and transfer or whatever. That's your business. I understand that. But the athletic departments of the universities are going to have to start protecting themselves. Because what's going to happen is you're going to see a Foucha type that comes in as an unheralded player that all of a sudden becomes a stud athlete and has a superstar moment on TV, and then all of a sudden decides he's going to go to Alabama or Georgia or somewhere where there's more money or a better chance of getting a ring. And that's kind of hose in Arkansas. We did all that time on an athlete. I'm not saying anything negative about Foucha. I'm not meaning this to be about Foucha. This is about later on down the road when you spend all that time and effort and give a guy a chance and money on an athlete for them just to bail on you at the end of their season when they become a 5-star all of a sudden.
So you think NIL should have year incentives? Like you only get this money if you...
It's going to have to.
Well, that's why A&M's doing it. I mean, he's on 1-year deals. So, or that was the report.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you something, Robert. Has this not same thing been going on with JUCOs for 20, 30, 40 years? I mean, those coaches.
I don't know. That could be an argument. I'm not prepared to have that argument or to discuss that because I hadn't put any thought into it. But you may have a valid point there. That you may be right. But I think that's part of what JUCOs are there for, is to develop players and get them to the next level. I think that's kind of what their position has always been. Now
or park them there till their grades are good enough to go to the next level.
Exactly.
The development may be off the field more than on the field.
And so, Robert, sorry, we're coming up against it, but I would say,
call, Robert.
That is a good point. But I would say if that is your concern, people poaching guys from Arkansas, which could very well happen in the future. I mean, it's been happening JUCOs for 20, 30, 40 years. I've never heard a single person complain about a prize JUCO player coming to a college.
And it happens with head coaches all the time. You have one great year, and boom, some other school comes in, and you're gone.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ask Louisiana how they feel about Billy Napier leaving for Florida.
Yeah. All right, SEC update coming up here on The Morning Rush.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
Them hoes, man, hey, them hoes can't do no wrong, fella.
You're listening to The Morning Rush.
The temperatures may be cooling down, but at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas, the deals are still red hot. Whether you are enjoying one of over 50 state parks or tailgating with your favorite team, Wheels has the right RV to help you enjoy fall in the natural state. And at Wheels RV, every new unit comes with a lifetime warranty. So get out to Wheels and see why they were voted best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
At any of the Clay Maxey companies, it's just an easy, customer-centered experience. We wanted to make it a one-stop shop, so we added Kawasaki and Can-Am and Hustler and Worldline. It's really been a nice add for us. We provide full service. We're doing pickup and delivery. We were able to add the Vexus line, which is a premier bass boat line. We want to make it easy. We want you to visit us at any of the Clay Maxey companies. Clay Maxey Ford and Harrison, Berryville, Motorsports, Marine, or Clay Maxey NWA.
Start 2022 with a splash from Burton Pools and Spas. Save up to $5,000 on a fiberglass in-ground pool. This is a limited time offer from Burton Pools and Spas. Only the first 15 customers will save $5,000 off a new in-ground fiberglass pool. Invest in your family and the backyard of your dreams at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas. They are your source for backyard fun. River City Bistro is Fort Smith's favorite place for lunch, dinner, and brunch. Open 7 days a week, both on the patio and cozy dining room. River City Bistro, locally owned and open weekdays 11 till 8, Saturdays 10 till 8, and Sundays 10 till 3. Want River City Bistro curbside to go?
Just search on Facebook or Instagram for River City Bistro or go to rcbistro.com. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
Reliable, high-speed internet is available to rural Johnson County. Arkansas Valley Electric members in Owark, Ozone, Lake Ludwig, Mount Vernon, Harmony, and other areas north and west of Clarksville can sign up now for fiber internet, TV, and phone service starting at $49.95 a month. Call 1-833-4WAVE-RC or go online to signup.waveruralconnect.com. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Doe's Eat Place, serving award-winning steaks, has now added lobster tail and salmon to the menu. You can also enjoy delicious appetizers along with your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Doe's Eat Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Call 784-9111. That's 784-9111. Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Don't you just hate that? Sitting in a tire store waiting room while your car's being serviced? That's the last place you need to be with work and kids and the 10 million things you need to be doing. Well, don't. Free shuttle service. Pickup and delivery free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. Jody'sAuto.com will make your life easier. Hi, Kim Bircher. 3 locations, 1 in Van Buren and 2 in Fort Smith. One stop. We do everything. So you don't have to go from place to place for tires or service or repairs or maintenance. We are local. 37 years and voted best of the best time and time again. We will pick up and deliver or shuttle you so you don't have to waste your time. Honesty and customer service is always our number one goal. We will make your life much easier at Jody'sAuto.com, JODYS Auto.com.
Building a home can be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partner. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out at the web at artriallawyers.com.
ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Ashley Air. Keeping your home comfortable is what they do best. Trust them with your heating and cooling needs. Go to AshleyAir.com to request service today.
Former LSU quarterback Joe Burrow told reporters that he is not playing against the Cleveland Browns this Sunday. Well, what does that mean to you as an Arkansas fan? Well, it means your former quarterback, former Fayetteville High School quarterback, Brandon Allen, is suiting up as the starter for Zach Taylor's Bengals. Big news. BA played, one snap against the Chiefs. Made sure he didn't fumble it.
I know it was at least one.
At least one.
I think he just clocked
it, yeah. And they won the football game. So now he's going to be tasked to win this one as well with a much more asked of him instead of just 1 or 2 snaps. This is from Matt Zenitz of On3 Sports that Emory Jones is expected, the Florida quarterback, to enter the transfer portal, but hadn't done so at this point. Still with the team and is enrolled in classes and took part of the team's meeting yesterday. We spoke of DJ Durkin potentially being on the move. Well, he is. According to Pete Thamel of Yahoo Sports, they're finalizing a 3-year deal down at College Station for the former Ole Miss defensive coordinator, and it looks like that Lane Kiffin's going to be looking for a new DC, Tommy.
Yeah, so just on the move, you wonder how many more of these coaches. That makes 2 coordinators that Lane Kiffin's got to figure out this year. So as one domino falls, you hope it doesn't start getting into your dominoes in Fayetteville. Mm-hmm. And you feel like with these coaching trees and the connections and all that, you're not going to go unscathed at some point.
We messed with the Brian Kelly audio about him trying to fake a Southern accent. Well, he talked about his accent at the bowl game. Apparently, he has a Boston accent, apparently.
Listen, whether it was dancing or I couldn't get my accent down with family. Listen, I'm from Boston. We don't have strong accents. And by the way, you cannot get on me about my accent.
Apparently, we can't get on him about his accent.
Wait a minute. People from Boston don't have a strong accent? Was that supposed to be a joke?
It has to be.
I mean, New Yorkers in Boston, they
Yinzers, Phil.
Yeah. The best example of when I went to Boston, I went to Orioles Red Sox series, and I bought a game program from a vendor outside of Fenway Park. And this is the best Boston accent that I had ever heard. The guy looked at my Orioles shirt and said, "I got a question for you. What baseball movie was filmed in Camden Yard?" And I said, "What?" He said, "What baseball movie was filmed in Camden Yard?" And I was like, What's a beach ball? And he's like, "Baseball." I said, "Baseball. Baseball movie in Camden Yard. Can't you hear me?" And I was like, "Oh, Major League. Yeah, that a boy." And I was like, they think we talk funny where I'm from. I couldn't understand you.
I think that was either a poorly landed joke or he's way off base. Yeah. John in Nashville, Pat Bradley doesn't have an accent, right? Yeah, well, of course he does.
Apparently, I saw People magazine said that the Boston accent was the second sexiest guy's accent out there. I don't find that believable. Arkansas has to be number one. Like a thick Southern Arkansas or Northeast Arkansas accent.
I think no matter where you're from, you don't believe you have an accent because everybody talks like you till you go to another part of the world. So we don't think we have an accent till we go somewhere and they said, "You must be from the South." Well, you must be from the North.
I will say there was a stark difference between the way that you and I converse and SmackDown, how we talked. I think there's still a difference between like Arkansas and, I mean, you're from, I wouldn't consider the River Valley necessarily just a southern place. I wouldn't consider Little Rock. BB is more of a southern Arkansas town.
More rural?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's more of a southern. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong. If you think Matt sounded like the same as we did, then maybe I'm wrong. But and then, like you said, as someone that's gone to New York, Chicago, D.C., and all these other places, and people look at me funny when I'm just talking. It's like the story I told you when someone asked me if we had electricity and wore shoes at Arkansas.
Regional dialect. We're used to what we hear here.
It didn't make a. No, I will say that being a 20-something odd with that accent in certain towns can help you as a single college male or a single male of that age, because the ladies are like, we never heard that before, blah, blah, blah. So Brian Kelly has that accent, and I'm curious how many accents he has before the end of the season.
What tells me he's trying to be somebody. He's not genuine. Remember
fake,
that?
Yeah.
All you 5-stars that I'm sure are listening this morning, up early, just got through your second workout, drinking your protein shake right now. He's not. He's a fake. He's a fake.
Not a genuine guy.
Get you a genuine coach like Sam Pittman.
Yeah. I saw former Mississippi State quarterback Dak Prescott. We were talking about him talking about Micah Parsons earlier. Well, he also had some things to say about losing Michael Gallup to a torn ACL.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a ton of confidence in the guys that have to step up, as you said, as they've done it in the past. I mean, we didn't have Michael for a few games early in the season, and those guys played a big role in stepping in, making some plays, having some big games, big-time catches, and big-time situations. So just looking forward to them doing that again. But as you said, it just sucks losing a teammate like Michael, but I know he's going to be supporting us the whole way through.
And we mentioned this earlier, WFAA, a television station in Dallas, got it first that the Cowboys Stadium, AT&T, and Jerry World is the backup plan for if something goes awry in L.A. They've got COVID restrictions. They've got COVID issues out there. It's not to say that I don't think Dallas does, but that is being reported as kind of a backup plan, which I think would be unique for our audience if somehow, some way, Dallas not only made it to the Super Bowl, but if it was moved to Jerry World for that finale.
You just hope it wouldn't be done under the the guise of restrictions. And hopefully, I think this is just a backup plan for the very reason with COVID kind of running rampant again. They're looking for alternative plans because you don't know what's going to happen. I don't think we're back to square one on this thing, but the numbers sure are trending in the wrong direction. So better have plan B and not need it than not have a plan at all. So.
And that's going to do it for your SEC update. It is brought to you by Ashley Air this morning.
Yeah, proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics, Ashley Air. It's the one you want. Schedule your service appointment today at ashley.air.com.
Can't plan on that one. All right, so with Joe Foucha, that's kind of the big news that we've been discussing this morning. I'm going to make sure I play it on the right one. Let's do it now.
You have an eagle, you have a hog. An eagle, when it's raining, cold, go inside, right? A hog, we love that mud, we love that water, so that's what we're going to be out there Saturday. We're going to be some wild hogs, getting dirty, muddy, rainy. We're going to be in that weather, so we're not concerned about that. We just ready to go play, to keep showing the world what we have here at Arkansas. That's what we're going to do.
Probably his best quote since arriving on campus at the U of A. That was prior to them playing Auburn this past season. I guess this past season is 2021, so this past season, which is 2020, we know how that game went with the backward spike and all, but easily his best quote while attending the University of Arkansas. And you look at a guy that's your captain. He's one of the best, not just secondary players, but players on your defense. And now Arkansas's got to find a way to fill what's a pretty big void, I would think.
You'll have a hard time finding a player equal or greater than his talents. Gave you 4 years and went through two years. And, it's not that 2020 was an outstanding year, but you could at least see the upward trend. But, went through 2 years at the Chad Morris time and, is he owed to do whatever he wants? Of course. I mean, you as a selfish fan, you want him back, but you can also understand that he's been through a lot of ups, or a lot more downs than ups in his time as a Razorback here. That would probably better sum up the 4 years he's had. It's been a lot more downs than ups, and you thought maybe with a good taste here in this year, an 8-4 regular season, 9th win in a bowl game, hey, you'd want to come back for one more here. But clearly his sights are on something else, and I just hope we maybe get to the motivation of it, rather than speculate about NIL or, is it a family deal, or you just, sometimes you just need to change the scenery. I mean, you never know what's going through someone's head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's, again, with not the information in front of us, we can only kind of think and guess, educated guess on what we think the rationale is, but we don't actually know.
We thought it was here or the draft, right? I mean, so this was not option C that we thought was going to happen.
Nope. All right, so we're sitting here. It's 8:50 on Thursday. Does Bumper Pool say he's coming back tomorrow, yes or no?
I think yes, because I think when you look at Bumper Pool, there's no guarantee in the draft at his size. I don't think maybe a late round or undrafted free agent opportunity, I think, is certainly in his sights. Coming back, NIL money, another year to build a resume on tape, to me, from the outside world, seems like the right call. But, all of our thoughts and opinions as fans and people that watch the games is based in our selfish desires to have a great player back for another year.
Does Barry Lunny Jr. take the Illinois offensive coordinator job, which he's reportedly there right now?
I don't think you'd be there unless you're going to take it, but 60-40 yes, not a strong yes on that. That's not a slam dunk, got to take it, I'll crawl over broken glass to get their job. Not by any means.
Illinois?
Well, I mean,
no, I'm agreeing with you.
Whose wagon do you want to hitch to? And then you got family. He's got young kids to consider. There's other things to consider in this equation for him. You want to be on Jeff Traylor's bandwagon? Or you want to, where's he going? Where could he be after next year? Bielema's probably back at about the peak where he's going to be. Who do you want to hitch your wagon to if you're trying to get to the next level? Traylor or Bielema? And maybe you view the OC job at Illinois as the next level. I don't think that's the end goal for him. 60-40 he goes.
Okay. I also want to mention this before we go. We got about 2 or so minutes left. Tommy was asking me about this earlier. So I always make sure to credit Clay for helping me along in certain aspects of the radio industry. I was nowhere in any capacity going to be a writer, but in radio-wise, whether it's helped me out in scholarship and stuff. Another guy I want to also kind of give some thanks for this morning is Sawyer Radler. I know some of you are aware who he is. Saw used to work on Bo's show. He was the production director, and he did a wide variety of things. Sawyer was about as technically sound as it gets in the radio industry. A lot of the stuff that I've learned, the different sound bites, the different whips and whammies you hear throughout the show, those are stuff that I learned from Saw. He is no longer going to be working for Sport and Story, which is Bo's new company. I know it's no longer a radio show, but Saw has been an integral part of that business, and he's a big reason why I'm here today. So I just wanted to congratulate him for all the years. I think it's 12 years that he worked for Bo, either as an intern or a full-time employee. But and if you met Saw, he's about as nice as an individual gets. He's worked with a lot of different University of Arkansas employees. He's worked with you, Tommy, in some way, in some capacity. Yep. So I just, again, want to congratulate him on the many years that he's done in radio and Arkansas sports-related events type of things, because he's a genuine dude, and he's very talented at his profession.
You left the best part out, though.
He's got 2 great kids.
Great beard. Great full dark beard.
Yeah. He's a heck of a golfer.
Yeah, that
he
too.
He played at A-State. He had a good mid-range jumper. We used to play basketball up in Springdale when I was still in college on Monday nights, and he actually was the one that invited me to that, which was really cool. So again, Saul, appreciate everything you've done for me and just the ESPN Arkansas community and just sports and whole, but I wanted to make sure I get that last in there. I know you announced your retirement publicly yesterday. Everyone have a great rest of your Thursday. A reminder, tomorrow, Greg White, Benville West coach, is going to be joining us, give a preview and kind of a recap of the Hoop Hell Classic at 7:15.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings